What's good, YouTube? We are back again to talk about the season 7 finale. That shit was a doozy. I am joined by my lovely ladies as always. We got ManaroGeek TV, Professor Diligence, Sam R09, T-Baby of House Troll. Ladies, go ahead and introduce yourselves. I will start with you, B.
Guys, it's Lady D, and I'm so excited to be here. Season 7 finale. Like, I think you guys are going to hear some things from me that I don't think anybody else is feeling, because I was honestly a little bit disappointed, to be quite honest with you. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit better than that, and I definitely wanted some more explosive things to pop off, and it just didn't. So I'm excited to be here. I'm ready to get into this episode, and of course, kicking it with my girls is always a great time. Thanks for coming.
All right, Lady Manaro.
I'm glad to be here with my girls, 7. I'm probably just gonna be way more giddy for what happened in the end. So be ready for my giddiness.
That is understandable. I think we may all be feeling the same way. Sam R09.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be joining the Mad Queens tonight. And I was so happy to be able to watch with AK last night, live streaming on YouTube for our reaction. I have a lot to say, so let's get into it.
All right, and let's see. We have T-Baby up next.
Hey, everyone. I'm so excited to be with my girls. And let me just say, my motherfucking twin, because I'm on the same wavelength as you, I kind of didn't care for this episode. I gave it a 7, and I really gave it a 7 mainly because of that ending. So I'm with you, Beauty Queen. When it comes to that wall and being all giddy, I'm down for that. But let's just talk about this.
All right, well, let's go with initial impressions overall and a rating for the episode. Let's say from 1 to 10. B, you're first in line. I'll start with you. Oh, Professor. You're muted. Okay, I think we may have to come back to B. She seems like she's having some technical difficulties. Manaro.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat what you? I'm like lost.
No, we're just in initial overall. What do you think of the episode, and what was your rating for it?
Overall,
Am I the only one not hearing?
No, I'm not either. I think Monero's having some technical difficulties.
Yeah. I can't hear either.
YouTube don't want us to be great. Damn it.
You don't hear me?
Well, okay, now we hear you. Go for it.
I said that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed parts of it. I didn't enjoy all of it, but I did enjoy parts of it. I gave it like maybe a 5.5 overall. And most of that 5 is for the ending, and the 0.5 was pretty much for everything else. But there were a lot of scenes that I enjoyed, but there were a lot of things that, you know, I could have done without, or I wish had played out differently.
All right, I can feel that. Sam?
Okay, so I gave the episode before this one a 9 because I love that episode. So I'm going to give this one just because it lacked a little bit for me. I loved the episode. I didn't have any real issues with it. It lacked a little bit for me, so I'm going to give it a 7.5.
All right, I can dig it. B, are you back?
I am. I give this episode, I wanted to give it a 6.5. Because of what happened at the end, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7. But it really did not live up to the expectations that I had for a season finale. So I kind of want to roll that back to a 6. As a matter of fact, it's a 6.5. I'll give them a 6.32.
I can dig it. I can dig it. T baby.
She's so petty for that and rolled it back like a 6.3 like Walmart. I'm still going to stand by and give it a 7 because you have to give credit where credit is due. There was certain parts of this episode where I was yelling at the screen, do it, just fucking do it. And I was getting into it. So I have to give them credit for that. But they didn't do what I wanted them to do, so they're back to a 7. It just happens.
You and your twin with these robots right now.
No, I stayed at a 7 though.
Okay, all right. I'm probably gonna give it about a 7.58 because I did like a good deal of the parts, but it was lacking for what we've been given as season finales before. So, meh. That's my initial thought. But we are going to start with the Dragon Pit. Well, the beginnings of the Dragon Pit. We saw, the Unsullied made it back to Daenerys safely. They are still uber strong. The Dothraki made an appearance. Before that, though, we saw Bronn. He looked like he was in charge of making all the preparations. The guy came up and asked and said that they have 500 barrels of pitch or something. He looked back over the wall at the army. He was like, yeah, go get another 500. That's not enough. And I thought that was pretty cool. He went into this talk with Jaime, saying how much he loves being called a lord, and he doesn't understand why anyone without a cock would be in an army fighting. It's Bronn logic. That's all I can attribute that to. The Dothraki ride in while Bronn is still talking to Jaime, and he thinks that it's possible that they may end up being the downtrodden that Tyrion might champion later, because they're going to get their asses spanked, pretty much. Let's see. We'll scroll ahead a little bit. There's everybody's basically coming to the Dragon Pit. They're on the boats with Dany's team. The Hound checks on the White, kicks it, I guess, to make sure that it's still in there alive and not melted into goo, which, sound call to do that. Once they do all get together, Cersei makes her grand entrance because she's a drama queen. And then Dany makes her even grander entrance. And Cersei's petty and was like, we've been here for some time, ma'am. Like she was trying to check her, but, Dany just let that roll off. And let's go a little bit further. We had a bunch of reunions along the road getting to the Dragon Pit also. And I thought the reunions were really cool. I appreciated them, particularly the Hound and Brienne. We had a few more, but we'll get into that once the ladies give their opinions. Once the parlay starts, Bronn takes Podrick with him to go get a drink so the fancy people can talk. And I think I will go ahead and stop there for a moment. What did you guys think of the initial get-together there? T, you go first.
Yeah, I dig some of those scenes, like the reunion with Tyrion and Podrick. I definitely enjoyed the Hound and Brienne talking about Arya, except the one part is that she doesn't mention who's Arya with at Winterfell, which kind of bothered me that they haven't brought that up, because I think he was protective, kind of like Brienne, of both girls at one point in time. So I thought that they should have sprinkled that in. That bothered me a little bit. But I did enjoy the back and forth with Bronn and Tyrion, because you could tell that they did enjoy each other. And the last time, well, no, because the last time before the meeting that they set up, Tyrion was saying his farewell. And, Bronn, I think he probably would have helped Tyrion if it would have gone in his favor, because he did like Tyrion like that. So it was interesting to see that whole talk about jump on our side and all of that. And we're just talking about like just the link ups, not the actual sit down, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so overall, like, I really enjoyed the Hound and Brienne scene more than anything when it came to like the little small meetups. But yeah, we'll talk about the whole meeting later.
I agree with you on that point too. Their little talk was awesome. I don't know why she didn't mention Sansa, but maybe we'll find out next season. Sam.
So I got really concerned when Bronn pulled Pod aside. I was like, oh shit, what's Cersei planning? Because in the initial opening scene, we had Bronn with a bunch of soldiers, which with what appeared to be wildfire. I don't know where that's going, but that's what it looked like to me. And yeah, so I was a little concerned that maybe there was going to be wildfire thrown and people were going to die. Other than that, I really liked the Brienne and the Hound meeting up. I actually don't think she said anything about Sansa because I'm not sure she knows exactly what their relationship was beforehand. She knows about him and Arya traveling together. I don't think she knows to what extent the Hound and Sansa were close. I liked Tyrion's just, when they were all just sitting there, I like his little comments that he was making. It showed me a little bit of the Tyrion I'm missing, the witty Tyrion. But other than that, it was just filler for me.
I can dig that. And yeah, I didn't even think about Brienne knowing the relationship with the Hound and Sansa, so good call. Lady Manaro.
I'm sorry, can you tell me what it is that we're discussing? Because I had to jump off, so I'm not sure.
Just the initial meetings of everyone along the road to the Dragon Pit and when they get there.
Oh, I enjoyed the reunions. I agree with most of what everybody said. I enjoyed the Brienne and Hound meeting. I enjoyed the reunion. I enjoyed Pod and Tyrion reunion. I thought I really dug it. You know what I mean? I even enjoyed the Hound and his brother. I enjoyed that. I love the way that Sandor just walked up to him and was like, "Yeah, bitch, you know what's coming for you. You know what's coming for you, don't you?"
No fucks to give.
I enjoyed all of the reunions because and I'm glad that they allowed for all of them to kind of come together in such a way where there's not I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it wasn't overly done. If I'm making sense, it just was like it just looked kind of seamless and natural. If I'm making any sense.
Yep, agreed. All right, Professor Diligence, regale us with your thoughts.
So the meetup scene for me wasn't like huge, but there were a couple of things that really stood out. The first thing, well, I guess let's roll back. The first thing is them, coming up to King's Landing and then seeing Bronn basically barking out orders. Like, he's really taking this whole being Jaime's right hand thing, like, to heart. Like, he's like, do this, do that, do this, do that. How many you got? They're calling him my lord, and he's, pretty secure in it. And I just thought that was interesting because it's the first time that we get to see Bronn the Lord. Like, I hadn't seen Bronn really lording before. So I thought that was interesting. It also struck me as the meetup scene how cold Bronn was to Tyrion. At first I was like, oh, what is that? And I was like, wow, you're trying kind of hard to be, kind of cold there. Podrick was even warmer. And, we first get that first little joke where he's like, you can suck Pod's cock later or whatever. So there's a nod to Pod and his magical cock, which was hilarious. But I think that was our first sort of indicator where it was like, oh, this is an act. Like, you just trying to be hard. And a part of me feels like if you were someone who was going to die and your friend is a great fighter and, they kind of just left you to die, I wonder if Bronn kind of feels like, all right, Tyrion knows that I'm a sellsword, but I wonder if he feels anything, about me basically letting him go to die, even though it was the mountain. And I honestly feel like perhaps that's his motivation for just staying with Jaime and Cersei, because at this point, he really isn't getting his due. He isn't being paid. And I thought it was hilarious that Varys is the person that sort of brings that up, because Tyrion says, it is what it is. I miss you, and whatever they're paying you, I will pay you double. And that's always been, it's always been their agreement. Should there come a time where you need to double cross me, whatever, I'll always pay you double whatever my, my enemies are paying you. And Varys said, and exactly what is that? So I get the sense that Varys knows that Bronn has been promised the castle and hasn't gotten it, and Bronn has been promised things, and his debts, his Lannister's debts are just piling up, and he hasn't been paid. And I think that it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen with Bronn in this next season now that Jaime is gone, when really all of the guarantees were from Jaime. So that stood out to me as a potential setup for next season. I also liked Brienne and the Hound side by side. I thought it was cool how they filmed them, because if you look at Brienne is the size of the Hound. You know, Tormund was saying, you know, almost your height. Nah, she's there. So she's formidable, and she's right there with him side by side. Something that struck me about Brienne and the Podrick situation is that Podrick is Brienne's is her squire, but Podrick was, you know, a Lannister squire, sworn to Lannisters first, because he was, you know, as a punishment, he was given to Tyrion. And now, when they're back in King's Landing, Podrick doesn't have that black on that he was wearing at King's Landing. He had on his dark red, you know, stuff that he was wearing, his Lannister stuff, but he also had on the wolf fur and stuff when he was walking around in Winterfell. And granted, it was cold, but I just thought it was interesting that Brienne kept on that wolf fur, and Podrick went right back to his Lannister red. He's right back in his regular squire attire, where Brienne is not. She's truly a part of the North now. The next part that I want to bring up is the Hound being afraid of whites. Sorry, guys, 1 second. So the Hound being afraid of whites is the next thing that sort of pops up to me. In the scene where they are traveling to King's Landing in the boat, seeing him go down there just to tap on it, like, he's scared. And the Hound is huge. I haven't seen the Hound be afraid of anything that isn't fire, you know? So I just thought it was incredibly interesting. And then when they finally do get to the dragon pit, his apprehension for kicking that thing out of that crate, and we'll get into that later, I thought that was definitely something to note, because he is so huge and he is so formidable. When we get into the actual meeting, I have some stuff to say, because that whole him walking up to his brother thing was definitely epic. Definitely epic.
Word, I agree. That was gangsta. That was one of my most favorite parts. You know, he basically walked over there with no care, didn't care that there were a bunch of guards at all. It's like, yeah, you know who's coming for you, motherfucker. It's gonna be me. I think.
Can I, AK, real quick? Can I just say happy birthday, Anita? Sorry, go ahead.
I was getting to that.
God. Oh well, I beat you to it. Sorry.
He don't want me to be great either. Anyway, let me give everybody a shout out that is in the chat with us. Sean, Old Nan, Cheekies, Anita, happy birthday, my lady. DJ11, BBM. See, Richie Rich Shatwell was in here. Who else we got? Renee, I think I might have said her already. JW Flux, Mary B. If I missed anyone, I apologize. I can't always scroll all the way back on the chat. Okay. Let's see. No, skip that part. Skip that part. All right, yeah, let's just jump into everything that happened. First, you know, Bronn removes Podrick. Yeah, maybe a little bit of suspicion there, but who knows. Once they get into the big parlay, Tyrion starts off and is immediately interrupted by Euron being a dick to Theon always. And then Tyrion, you know, he comes with that clapback about the dwarf jokes that you have to explain. If you got to explain, it's not funny. And then he gets surprisingly told to sit the fuck down by not just Jaime, but also Cersei. But then again, she could have been playing us right there from the very beginning. You know, Tyrion says his spiel. Then we go into Jon and they bring out the white. And the Hound, he does look pretty fearful with it. I'm gonna chance a guess and say that maybe he pointed that thing in the right direction, because the first person it went after was Cersei, which I found interesting. There may be nothing there, but maybe there is. Let's see. Let's scroll ahead. Jon basically gives the breakdown again. He stabs the white with dragon glass and shows them fire. But then things go left. So before we get to that, do you guys want to tie in? And actually, you could bring pretty much as much in on this one as you want. T, you go first.
I know I'm gonna forget some shit. So I was interested in the whole conversation between the Hound and the Mountain, just because I thought we were going to see something, and because we didn't see nothing, not even like a little fight. Season 1 was a little disappointed in that. As far as the white, y'all know, I think that that's a White Walker's conscience slipped inside there. I know that sounds crazy, but let me have it. So I think it did try to go after Cersei on purpose. I think it stayed still on purpose because when they were in the boat, the Hound kicked it and immediately he started like screaming and all that other stuff. So when he opened it and it didn't move or do anything, it seemed like he did it on purpose. I was like, once again, I think that's the still inside there. And then the way that they cut it and it was still trying to go after it, ugh. But this is what I just want people to know. Okay, hear me out. This is why I call Jamie a bitch. Because when that white ran after Cersei, your man did not move not once. He backed away. I was like, so you just gonna sit there? You know this bitch is pregnant, but you still gonna sit there and let it come? Like, aren't you the queen's guard? Like, that's your one. You have one fucking job to do, and that's just to protect the queen. Like, you fucked up the first time, you killed the king, Adore, but now you got the second. Like, what are you doing? I was just like, you're not even going to try to, golden hand can't bite gold. So do that or something. He didn't move at all, and unless I'm tripping, but I didn't see him move. Let's see. I'm trying to think. My mind's racing right now. Come back to me on anything else if I missed it. Or what else would we have to talk about? Just those two, right?
Yeah, unless you want to be flexible either way.
No, I'll let y'all go. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Sam.
Okay, so I loved seeing the Hound walk right up to the mountain. He did not care one bit. He walked right up to him. He said what he had to say. He told him he looks ugly. What have they done to you? Oh, it's just classic Hound. It just made me happy. It's bits of characters we haven't seen in a while. They're actually giving us those little bits. The Euron and Theon and Tyrion thing, I liked Tyrion talking and saying what he had to say. I was kind of annoyed with Euron, but I'm always annoyed with Euron because I don't think that's Euron. I'm not going to say what I call him because AK will get mad at me and we won't go into that. But I really liked it. I thought it was back and forth bickering while they were waiting for Dany. It just seemed appropriate since these people haven't seen each other in so long and there's so many emotions there. No, T, you're right. Jamie didn't move at all. But the even better part was I don't think the mountain moved either. The only person I saw move was Qyburn, and I think it was more because he was curious. So go ahead, anyone who has to talk next.
Yeah, Qyburn looked like he found the Holy Grail seeing that shit. Lady Manaro.
I don't really have much to add. I think everybody pretty much just relayed my thoughts. And like I said before, I really enjoyed all of the reunions. I agree that Qyburn was more like, more like the mad scientist who was, I don't know, I guess he wanted to tuck it inside of his robe and like walk away so he could go do experiments with it. Because he looked kind of reluctant when he had to give it over to Jon.
Uh-oh.
Beauty Queen, you went out on us. Are you still talking?
Yeah.
Say pineapple. That's how safe word.
While we're waiting on that, go ahead, B.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, damn, I wasn't even muted that whole time. Jeez. All right, so flippy. So the meetup, I guess we'll talk about the Hound first, since that's just there, right? All right, get it out of there. I don't think the Hound was talking about killing him, y'all. I don't think he was saying that he was coming for him. I think that the Hound rolled up on him and was telling him the Night King was coming for him. And that's some tinfoil. Put that in your hat. But let me just tell y'all why I think that. The episode before this, Beyond the Wall, when I rewatched it, something stuck out to me as a little bit odd. It stuck out to me that there were certain no-name characters who were attacked immediately and eaten, right? Basically ripped to shreds. But there were certain characters like Tormund who were not ripped to shreds when they were being attacked by whites. They literally tried to hold Tormund down and pull him under the water. I think that they were trying to kill him, but they wanted him dead but intact. And the reason why is because I think that the Night King is aware of who is a good fighter, who's a great fighter, and is aware that certain people you may be able to turn to White Walkers. And then there's other people who you may be able to turn into extremely powerful whites, especially people I would think like Tormund. So just hold that. Because that's what my belief is from watching that episode beforehand. When the Hound rolls up on the mountain, he goes straight to him. He's like, yeah, what happened to you? You look ugly. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It's coming for you. Know what's coming for you. You've always known what is coming for you. And I think that it's not, you always knew I was coming for you. If we read, and this is book to show, and you got to take it with a grain of salt because you know how the books and the show are. But we know that the Hound has voices, not the Hound, the mountain has voices in his head. He hears voices. So he drinks, I believe he drinks milk of the poppy and wine. He just tries to dilute as much as, he tries to self-medicate as much as he can to stop the voices in his head. So if these voices in his head are actually, Bran or another Greenseer or whatever, what have you, or even the Night King, it's possible that, yeah, that's exactly what the Hound is talking about. I'm not coming for you. I don't got to kill you. You already dead, but you know what's coming for you. You always know what's coming for you, which is why you've been a horrible, murderous, evil human being, because that's what the Night King needs. He needs a killer, murderous, unconscionable, just evil person, and that's what you are. So that's what I got from that. The second part is, okay, sorry, I'm in the car, guys. The second part is Cersei looking shook. Cersei was shook, and she was definitely shook from the white sighting when he kicked it over and it ran at her and she pulled the chain. But before that, when Daenerys flew in on that dragon, did y'all take a look at everybody's face? Jamie was like, yep, I told y'all that's how he was looking. Cersei was sitting there trying to have the smug face, but she was in complete and total awe. She was stuck, and so was Euron. I even saw Euron kind of crack half of a smile, which I think is interesting. I think it's an interesting setup for us because we know he's going to go get the Golden Company and not really go to Pike. But if he has the money in hand to get the Golden Company and comes back, I don't see any reason for them to fight for Cersei. Not if Euron has control, and he seems to be pretty enamored with Dany. So I guess we'll just see how that goes. I was interested by that. The next part with Jon's demonstration, I agree with you, Sam. Like, Qyburn definitely had a heart on. Like, everyone else was scared. Like, what is that? What is that thing? It's gonna kill us. And Qyburn was like, what? It's dead? You can cut it in half and it still crawls? What? You can stab it? You can burn it and it's still alive? What? Like, this piece will work? So hold on, I could create a mountain where I could cut the arm off and the leg off and it'll still try. I think he was really, really, really just extremely interested in the fact that there was something that could be reanimated and you could honestly take pieces off of it and not kill it. Because the reality is he created the mountain, right? He resurrected him, so he kind of knows how zombies work. But this is a whole nother level. So I thought that was interesting. The Euron, Theon, and Tyrion love triangle that they had going on was interesting to me because the thing that I pulled out was that Theon did not look away from Euron. When Euron walks past Theon, they're doing all that face wrestling. Theon does not look away. And I know that sounds really insignificant, but when we look at how Theon has been in these past seasons, during his Reek turmoil and then even post-Reek, he's kind of been in the servant role. This is the first time when we're seeing Theon straight up stand on his own 2 feet and look this man in the eye and do the face wrestle back. No, he didn't say anything, but I got to give him, a little A for effort. He he has a little heart going on. And I think it's his first step towards de-reeking, which we see later in the episode. The next part is I did see other people. I think it was Sam, you said you did see anybody jump up, and T-Baby. I did see them jump up, but they jumped up after the Hound grabbed that thing with the chain and pulled him back. Once the Hound grabbed him and pulled him back, you see Lannister soldiers, and you even see Jaime get up because you see a sword. You slow down the scene, you see them get up, but they definitely are all sitting there when that thing gets out and runs towards Cersei. It kind of reminds me of that time where George Bush was doing that speech. I think he was in Saudi Arabia or something like that, in Pakistan, and people were throwing shoes at the dude. A journalist threw a shoe at him, and he was like, "Damn, where's Secret Service?" She had the whole time to bend down, take off a shoe, throw it, bend down, take off a whole nother shoe. So it was like that. I think it was just the sheer shock of it. Nobody knew what to do. Period. None of them. So yeah, that was it. I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to talk y'all face. So.
All right, cool. T, you had something else to add in?
Did everybody else go already?
I thought so. Manaro, did you go?
Yes, I did. I didn't have anything to add other than what everybody said. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
First of all, OMG, loved every fucking thing you just said, because it never even occurred to me that there might be voices in his head and stuff like that. And then when you think about the Night King, someone possibly being able to control him, I kind of disagree about the whole Torment thing. I do think that they were just trying to kill him by any means, but it's an interesting thought. Euron. Now, I said I didn't give this episode a good episode because it was this way that the scene was set up when Euron just got up and walked away from Cersei. Now it's like Cersei would never let someone just do that and humiliate her like that. So instantly I thought something's not right with this scene, but later on we find out why. So I didn't care for it, but I understood why I didn't like it. It's because it didn't make sense. It's not something that Cersei would normally do. If someone was to just say, okay, I'm taking all my stuff and leaving you just open like that, that made no sense to me. And then when you talk about Euron, I did see that he was staring at Theon. Theon was staring at him the whole time, but it almost seemed like he was talking to Dany. Go to an island and wait it out. At least we'll be alive. But the other thing that I liked is that he said that can they swim? And I thought that he was saying that because you know how it is in the books where he's sacrificed so many people to the sea that he was afraid they might come back or something. That's what at least that's where my head went to when he said it. I was like, oh, okay. But like I said, when it comes to that white scene, I think it was planning it, like it showed intelligence. And I'm with you guys when it comes to Qyburn. I forgot all about him and the fact that he has resurrected someone. He didn't flinch. He just went straight for it. But also, the thing that, once again, it shows that Jaime, they moved, but they didn't move to protect Cersei. No one did. And I thought that was just strange that Jaime's always talking to, he knows that that she's pregnant, and you still didn't move. That's your supposedly quote unquote Steve, and you still don't do the one thing you were supposed to do. But OMG, you said everything I wanted. Like, my mind's blown, girl.
Professor Diligence always come through with the great observations. So we get to near the end, like Euron claims the dead terrify him, so he's going back to the Iron Islands and wait out everybody, and then the Ironborn will rule. Let's see. So once that the demonstration's over, again, Cersei accepts the truce, but she wants Jon to also extend that. And after they're done doing whatever they're gonna do, Jon just stays in the north with his kingdom forever. But to Dany, she doesn't say anything because she doesn't think she can trust Dany any more than she is trusting her right now. So they all go, Jon, being baby Ned, tells the truth and pretty much ruins the whole thing when he says he's already pledged to Daenerys. After that, Cersei, again, never has any fucks to give. The meeting was pretty much over. Brienne tried to talk to Jaime and, you know, get him to convince Cersei, but Cersei gives him like the death stink eye look, and he walks away. Like, you know, there's nothing for me to really tell her. So he basically is throwing his hands up. I think that this is like the true beginning of him saying, okay, fuck this shit, I'm out. Let's see, I won't. Well, no, we can include all of the other meetings here. You know, everything that Tyrion said to Jon, you know, trying to convince him that, you know, going this route really was not the smartest thing to do. But, you know, Jon, again, baby Ned, he can't see doing anything past the right thing. I will stop there for a second. If you guys want to add in, though, the talk with Tyrion and Cersei, let's just go ahead, push that in, and then we can wrap up the first segment here. So, Manaro, you want to go first?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I have to keep saying that. I didn't have a problem with Jon telling, to be quite honest with you. I didn't have one problem. I don't have a problem with it at all. And the reason why I didn't have a problem with it is because, do you honestly believe that Cersei would have honored her word even though Jon would have given his word to stay in the North? No. Her intent was to go and conquer all of Westeros. She was probably just going to conquer what was easiest for her and then go off and head out to the North. So everybody trying to jump in their feelings, should have lied so that we could have gotten her support. She was never going to give her support anyway. And Jon just gave her an out to be able to say so. And so it wasn't until Tyrion came, you know, are we talking about Tyrion going to go meet up with her? I'm not going to talk about their conversation, but it wasn't until after that she just figured out, okay, I'll have to figure out another way to kind of make it seem like, okay, I'm going to, you know, play nice with everybody. Because truth be told, everybody knows why Daenerys is there. Everybody knows why she came to Westeros. So I don't know what all of this lying and pretending would have really resolved, just to get Cersei to say, yes, I'm going to join your army. If anybody knows Cersei, people should have expected that she was gonna back out or be scheming something underhanded. So I didn't have a problem with Jon saying, yo, I can't rock with you. I'm already rocking with Daenerys. So I have a problem with that. But I understand why they got all in a huff and a puff, because they wanted to kind of basically get Cersei on their side. But you can't tell somebody to act outside of, you can't always expect for someone to always act outside of their character, because all of you are used to lying and
You cut out again, Manaro.
so about a person. So you to come to expect that is who they are. And everybody knew that Ned Stark was honest, which is why they were able to manipulate him in that way. So, and I think Jon was that, because he mentions that, he goes, I know everybody thought that, you know, I'm just like my father, and that's what, and him being honest is what got him killed. But, you know, at some point, how, you know, when do I stand by my morals and my values and be me and stop trying to pretend what I'm not? You know what I mean? I gotta be who I am and, you know, stand by, you know, my value, my value set and my morals, despite what everybody else thinks. May not agree with it, you know what I mean? Because we're trying to accomplish something, but at the same time, I'm not mad that he was being who he is true to. What else were we talking about?
That was it. We'll get into Cersei's talk.
Okay.
Next. Sam, you went already, right?
No, not yet.
Okay, you take this one then.
Okay, so when Cersei, this is the thing that got me, and I don't know if anyone else thought maybe, when Cersei's talking to Jon, she's talking about his father, And the first thing that popped into my head was he's got to be beyond pissed. So Renee had just mentioned in the chat that John's probably sick of the shit going on. He's like, okay, we don't have time for this. But at the same time, I think it was more than that. I think it was John saying, enough of your bullshit. Don't talk about my father. You cut off his head and I'm not having it. I think that's why he told the truth. That's why he didn't go with her game that she was playing, because he was just like, no, you don't bring up Ned. Sorry. No go. Go ahead.
Yep, I like that thought. T, baby.
Okay, I'm gonna hope I'm hitting all the key points because I'm realizing a lot of things did kind of happen in this whole scene because it took 40 fucking minutes to. It comes to the whole Ned situation. I think that Cersei's playing on the fact that John would probably be honorable like Ned, because we know that in season 1, Ned went straight to Cersei, says, I know that those are bastards, get your kids and get out. He's going to always do the right thing. When she pulled that move and say, and the King of the North has to declare like he can't be on any sides, she's pulling him back, basically back into the Night's Watch, and they are not supposed to take sides either. So I think she's playing it well because she's also forcing him to do something on his honor. He can't lie, or it's not in him to do it. He just up and says, look, I pledged my devotion to Dany. I can't just deny her. And I know people are pissed off about that, but the thing is they never talk to him about it. How's he supposed to know? You know that he doesn't lie. Tyrion, you should know this. Dany, you should know this. He does the same. He doesn't lie. That's not in his character. He doesn't play the game. Like, he went to Dragonstone when everyone told him it was fucking stupid to do it. And it was to a degree because as soon as he got there, they took his boat, they took his weapon. So John doesn't play the game just like Ned. He went down there with again, Littlefinger's playing like head games, but he's like, I'm not gonna play games. And then he roughs up Littlefinger, and then Littlefinger starts to try to, make a scheme to basically kids, because I'm pretty sure that Littlefinger was trying to get rid of everyone at that point because he knew that that would bring them closer to Sansa. But it's just that not Ned, John doesn't play these games, and he always got him in trouble. So it's not really his fault, but it was a smart move because she's playing into his honor. And once again, like, you don't have to like Cersei. I think she's a dumbass, but she's been outplaying everyone this whole season. She's been using goodness and his integrity that he has or tries to have. She's been playing on so she's not really playing by the rules, but she's using these people's honor and the good qualities about them and making it weak to the point where it's their downfall. Being honorable, Tyrion not wanting to kill everyone, Jaime doing what he has to do to protect his family. Like, she's using all of these things that are good traits in them, but it's their downfall, and she's doing it well. Now it all backfired, of course. Then we also talked about what else happened. Oh, what else? Oh, one thing I did want to say about the meetup, when Cersei came in late, she was trying to be dramatic and have on her and ended up having to wait on Dany, and that pissed her off because she was trying to do that, and it seemed like Dany was trying to out Queen Cersei. But once again, it shows you that like her, but she's noticing everything because later on she knows that she only had 2 dragons. So right then and there, she's not even thinking about it. I'm not sure exactly where we stopped off, and I feel like I'm talking too much. So
Oh, you are never talking too much, but yeah, you ended right where we did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So let us go over to Professor Diligence. B, you're muted. If you're talking, we can't hear you. Still nothing.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
About now.
There you go.
All right. Okay. So this part was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it as well because it's just a continuation of the dragon pit scene. So, T-Baby, what you were saying before just now about Dany out-queening Cersei, I'm going to start with that. That was the greatness right there. Everybody came in and everybody is, you know, on edge and waiting. And here's Cersei coming in. And something to throw out there, stick a pin in it, guys, because I feel like this has some relation to the book. We talk about Cersei and Jaime being a bastard. I know this is kind of like off topic. I feel like we are getting confirmation that Cersei is a bastard. Between the scene that she did where she had, you know, the sand snake and her mom tied up the similar way that Brandon Stark would have been tied up with his father. And then now when we see Cersei in the dragon pit and she's dressed like a dragon, she has the same ventilated back on her jacket that Dany had when she went north. That same, and it's black. Also, her outfit in this episode is black scales. She looks like a black dragon, which is interesting. I think that's sort of a nod to us that, yeah, Cersei is a bastard. So that's neither here or there, but I just thought that was interesting. The look on everybody's faces when Daenerys finally got there with that dragon and just walked up there and sat down just as quiet and kind and queenly as you please. It was perfect for me because Cersei realized, oh shit, like it just happened to me. Like I just got Cersei. Like I was just out queen. And it was hilarious because the only thing she gave them was Cersei was like, yeah, well, we've been waiting here. And the only thing Dany gave them was, yeah, sorry about that. And what you gonna say to a queen when she says, yeah, sorry about that? Bitch, you gonna wait. A queen is never late. She's always on time. And I thought that was great because I thought Cersei was put into her place, which is, you know, being a fake queen. Go back through my nose. We can go back. So your point, Sam, when you were talking about Jon and Ned, the Jon and Ned thing about Cersei touching on Ned and that pissing Jon off, I can definitely see that. I can see that, and then I can also see Jon, you know, basically being around Sansa enough and realizing, okay, Cersei's a pretty evil bitch. You know, not only does she kill everybody, but she's very conniving. She's very conniving. She's very slick. She's very just Cersei. So I think that anything that she was going to say, he was going to take with a grain of salt anyway, period. But I do think it's a great observation that he may have just been pissed off with the fact that Cersei really tried to bring Ned into the situation. I thought it was also hilarious because Cersei, you don't know that Jon's not even Ned's son. So it's hilarious. You're like, I know the son of Ned Stark would hold his word. Really? Because Robb didn't. And that's actually Ned's son. This is Rhaegar's son. So I just thought that was interesting. And arguably, Rhaegar is pretty dishonorable because he married like a 14-year-old girl. So there's that. I do think that Jon did do a dumb thing, but it was the right thing in making that decision because Cersei was definitely going to double-cross them anyway, no matter what they did. And I honestly have to look at Tyrion a little bit now and say, well, what the hell is going on with Tyrion? Why isn't Tyrion more on it? He knows Cersei. He should know how Cersei is. Anything that Cersei is saying to you, you should know that you should be able to take that with a grain of salt. By now, you should understand who Cersei is. This is your sister. And so I just think that Tyrion really should have approached this a little differently. He shouldn't have been so nice with it. And something that really concerns me is that when Tyrion gets into that room with Cersei, he says that he does not want to destroy their family, our family, my family. He does not want to destroy the Lannisters. And for me, if you're going to be on Daenerys' side, you need to be ready to destroy the Lannisters. That's what you signed up for. You signed up to destroy your own house. If you're not trying to do that, then that's the issue. I don't think that he can kill Cersei. I don't think that he's going to kill Cersei. It's definitely going to be Jaime or Arya because he can't do it. Cersei couldn't kill him, and he can't kill Cersei. Whatever it is, they're still brother and sister, and that love or whatever you want to call it is still there, and they're not going to kill each other. And that really concerns me because that makes me feel like Tyrion is most definitely going to trade on Dany. Next part. I think that's pretty much it. It was just a cool scene. I liked seeing everybody together, and I think seeing the first dragon in the dragon pit, you know, in 135 plus years, it was pretty great getting to actually see it on screen. You know, I'm sure reading is going to be better, but seeing it on screen was great.
Professor D always coming in the awesomeness, man. Okay, so we are going to move right along. We are now in the hallway outside of Cersei's chambers, where Tyrion and Jaime are having a little chat. You know, they basically played the game of, you know, who's the biggest idiot for dealing with Cersei in any way, shape, or form. Jaime at the end of it says, you know, well, I guess I gotta tell you goodbye. So, peace. And he steps aside and lets Tyrion walk in. And, you know, Cersei was a lot in her feelings in this meeting. And I can't really blame her because, you know, when it comes to her kids, that's one of her gold star points is she did care about her kids. I don't think too much towards the end, but initially she did. Let's see. She basically blames Tyrion for Tommen and Myrcella's death because she still refuses to take responsibility for Tommen's death. You know, accuses him of everything from Tywin on. Just all the shit. It's all Tyrion's fault. All the things are Tyrion's fault. So when everything escalates, you know, she threatens to kill him, and he tells her, you know, give the order. And she doesn't. And that is not going to be the last time that she's called out to play and still doesn't do anything. But we'll get to that one later. Let's see. I think they continued to talk for a while. We never saw the actual outcome of, you know, everything they were talking about, except for, you know, when they get back to the dragon pit. But I still would have liked to hear their whole conversation. I feel like things may be going sideways where Tyrion is concerned, and it did set him up for a betrayal. I agree with Lady D on that. Let's see. There is also a talk between Jon and Dany about you know, the dragons and how locking them away was the beginning of the downfall for her family. And, you know, after all that, they continue to have more eye sex, and that's just basically it. Let's see. When Tyrion comes back, he has Cersei in all of her camps. Cersei says she'll help, and hopefully that they'll remember that she helped of her own free will, so to speak. Let's see. And then I think there was one last thing. Yeah, she tells Jaime to call the banners. And I'm wondering exactly how many banners do they really have outside of the Westerlands, because it really doesn't seem like anyone else is paying attention to Cersei. So I will start that off with you, T-Baby.
I don't really have too much to say on this. I did pick up that Cersei is realizing that Brienne does play a big role in Jaime's life, because when Brienne put Jaime to the side, said, you know, fuck your loyalty and all the other stuff, this is bigger than that. Cersei was right there, and she also, I mean, we'll possibly talk about that later, but at that moment, she did pick up on that. And as far as Cersei and Tyrion, it goes back to she's playing the good things about Tyrion against him, because I don't know what episode it was, but she says, you know, we're going to have to think like father. And she said that maybe they'll use Tyrion in some way because he'll feel guilty or something, but she is using Tyrion, and I don't think that she could kill Tyrion at that moment because she still needs him alive, just like she needs Jaime alive. She's going to play these brothers their weakness, which is the things that you like about them. And when she and people say she's not pregnant, but she didn't drink the wine. And I noticed that she did not drink that wine. So I still think she's pregnant. I don't think it's going to make it. I think it's going to be just like the Princess and the Queen, where she's going to probably go into labor and all that rage is going to come out deformed or something like that. But I just noticed that with that conversation between Tyrion, she was all talk about how she wanted to kill this man, and she had it right then and there, and then he just walked away. And she says to Jaime later on that no one walks away from her, but everyone was literally walking away from her. I mean, Euron was walking away, even though that didn't make sense, but we found out later on. And Jamie does it, Tyrion does it, so she's all talk and nobody.
I do concur with that very much. Sam, take it away.
Okay, hold on. What are we talking about? I was in the chat. I was pulling a tea.
The whole conversation with Cersei and Tyrion, the convo between Dany and Jon, and everything that was in between.
Okay, so with the Cersei and Tyrion thing, honestly, simply because I just don't, like, I can't fathom her being pregnant and whatever. Have we established that there could possibly be some sort of, what is it called when you think you're pregnant and you've convinced yourself that you're pregnant, but there's actually no baby there? A hysterical pregnancy or something like that? I think that she wants a baby to hold on to Jamie so badly that she has convinced herself that she is pregnant, and it is a hysterical pregnancy. Because that woman, if you watched her last season, she drank way too much fucking wine to ever carry a child to term. I don't care who you are, that baby would be gone already. As far as her conversation with Tyrion goes, I know that watching it, you get the idea that maybe Tyrion's going to turn on Dany and whatever, we've gotten that in the prophecy and she has to be betrayed at some point. I honestly don't think Tyrion's going to betray Dany for Cersei. I think maybe for Jamie, but never for Cersei as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that they've set up any type of relationship whatsoever outside of Tyrion feeling like all he's ever done is be tortured by her countless times, and there's no redemption for Cersei. She's never done anything to redeem herself in his eyes for everything he's done. But I think, who was it? Hold on. Someone brought up Marco brought up a good question. Who do the Lannisters, the banners or the army, whatever, whoever they have left, who do they follow? Do they follow Cersei or do they follow Jamie? What do you guys think?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. I don't think I have an answer for that. Very interesting thought, though. Manaro, do you want to weigh in?
We're talking about the conversation with Cersei and Tyrion, yeah?
With Cersei and Tyrion, also with Dany and Jon and everything that.
I'm not going to talk about Dany and Jon because I really didn't give it much weight. I didn't. I'm sorry. Their scenes were just. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I skipped through most of them because I just didn't care. I didn't care about their scenes. Their scenes didn't. I just didn't. Sorry. So I probably won't have much to say about anything Dany or Jon related as far as them having scenes together. So if there is anything significant that may have been said between the both of them, I don't know what it is because I skipped through most of their scenes when they were alone. Let's see. I like the interaction between Cersei and Tyrion. I think they both needed to have that confrontation with each other. And you could see how Cersei was playing, like everybody else has been saying, how Cersei was playing Tyrion. Because at the end of the day, even in the books, you could see that even though Tyrion knew how much Cersei despised him. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Even though Tyrion knew how much Cersei despised him, he was always looking for some sort of validation from Cersei because that's his big sister, right? And he just and I don't think of most young siblings want their older siblings to love them and accept them. And I don't think I don't think that want has changed. And that's what I got from that exchange. that he still essentially wants Cersei to accept him, and he wasn't really willing to kill her. I don't think he's looking to kill her in any way, but I also agree with T that I think it was T who said that if he does betray Dany, it wouldn't be for Cersei, it would be for Jaime. But I still believe that he still wants Cersei some affirmation from his big sister. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, because I think that is normal. So I really enjoyed that the both of them kind of had to confront each other and get everything out, and for Tyrion to actually call her on her bluff, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, once she found out that Tyrion didn't kill Joffrey, I don't think she really had much of a want to kill, even if it was their father, because at the end of the day, her father dying allowed her to wield power when you look at it. Because if her father was still around, he would still be trying to tell her what to do and kind of making decisions for her. And probably at one point, she wouldn't even be in King's Landing anymore, because I think his intention was to marry her off and get rid of her. So in essence, Tyrion killing their father is what allowed her to ascend to the power where she's at. And I think she has to realize that. So I think she's playing this kind of like manipulation game where she's, acting like, oh, you killed our father, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it ended up working out for you that your father is dead. So, and that's all I really got to say about that.
Those are some very interesting thoughts. I like where your brain went. See, this is why I hang with these ladies. They bring the knowledge. Now, Professor Diligence, you're up next on the mic.
Okay, so y'all gonna have to refresh me because I got on the elevator. So all we talking about is what is them in that room with are we talking about is Tyrion and Cersei, or if we going past that? Did I miss that?
No, we can go past that too. Tyrion and Cersei, Jon and Sansa, and the parlay at the end where Cersei says she'll help them. All of that.
Okay, Cersei, Jon, and Sansa. All right. Cersei, Jon, and what happened with Jon and Sansa? What the hell happened to Jon and Sansa?
Did I say Sansa? I meant Daenerys. If I did, sorry.
Oh, with the okay. Lazy's back. I'm sorry, guys. I have to take an elevator. I'm sort of in transit here. So, the thing that struck me about the meeting with Cersei and Tyrion and the mountain was I guess to me it seemed like Cersei was leading him to the I'm pregnant thing. I was saying that it's because that she's like rubbing on her stomach and stuff, playing the game and playing everybody really well. Like she's literally rubbing her stomach for half of the Tyrion pours her wine and she doesn't drink it. Like, she's like dropping in breadcrumbs. And then she's like, I am the world. And now he's like, oh, you're pregnant. Sympathy for Cersei. So again, I agree with you, T-Baby. It's just another example of how Cersei knows how to play the game, how she plays everybody and pulls on heartstrings. I thought it was an interesting point that she didn't kill him because she couldn't. Him to do something, Daenerys or whatever, she needs that heartstring to cause him to do something. Buy into that. What I did think was interesting though is that I give the okay for the mountains to
hold on. B, you're breaking up.
Okay for Jamie, and I thought that was a little bit weird, but I mean that's neither here nor there because that's not the same thing.
I can barely hear you.
Yeah, B.
No, I can't hear you at all.
Can you hear us?
Say pineapple.
You and the pineapples.
That's our safe word. Or I could say pillow talk, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, well, let's not go into the pillows, the poor pillows. All right, B, can you give us a mic check?
So, okay, getting serious. Scene with them, I just thought it was really interesting. Long story short, I felt like Cersei was dropping breadcrumbs for Tyrion. She wanted him to know she was pregnant so she could get him, to appeal to his like emotional side or whatever, and not be so on guard. But I still feel like boo boo on you, Tyrion. You should know your sister, and you should be directing Dany in a way that is more aggressive against Cersei. And the last point about that meeting that I thought was interesting was the fact that she did not give the okay to the mountain to kill. She did give the okay to the mountain to kill Jaime. Granted, I agree with T Baby, what you're saying, where she needs them both alive to do something. It was really interesting that Tyrion basically broke on her and was like, "You blaming me for all this stuff, even though realistically, kid's death. Like, let's think about all the things that you did that set the things in motion for these things to happen." But whatever, blame it on Tyrion. He's basically breaking on her, and then it's like, do it. Hey, do it. And she just looks away like, no, I can't do it. But with Jaime getting up to walk away from her, she's literally like, don't nobody walk away from me. And Mountain go ahead and gives him the nod, like, take out that sword. I was like, I don't believe you, and just walks by. So I thought that was interesting. It'd be quicker to kill Jaime, even if you weren't going to kill either one of them. I don't know. What you said the next part was?
The conversation with Jon and Daenerys, and then Cersei coming in to say she'll help at the end.
Okay. So Daenerys and Jon in the dragon pit, I thought it was very interesting because of the way that Daenerys was talking to him in that entryway. Literally, the entryway, that little archway into the dragon pit where they're giving each other, passing back the bones that were there. The thing that I found to be kind of weird, well, not weird, but interesting, that stuck out to me was that she kept saying, we. Our house did this. We did this. Dragons did this. Filled people with wonder and awe, and we locked them up, and power, and we grew small with them, and we. And I thought it was really interesting because Dany doesn't know how right she is when she says we. It is both of you guys' house. And I thought that was just really cool, having 3 dragons in the dragon pit. What's the next part?
The ending when Cersei comes in to say she'll help.
Now, again, I am upset with Tyrion for this bull crap because I don't understand how Tyrion... Let's believe her. Let's go ahead and believe everything Cersei says, even though I know she's a damn liar. And believe her. Not even putting anything into place, no traps. No, let's just go ahead and believe her. And I thought that was complete crap. I think that the whole thing with Cersei being, sweet and soft and emotionally, whatever you want to call it, is just, and the whole, obviously, because she's going to play them for the Golden Company anyway, the whole, oh, I hope you guys remember that I agreed to help without any assurances from any of you. It's just another CYA play for her. She wasn't going to send them anyway, but in the event that, the fight actually does come south and she has to fight to defend herself, and then they end up defeating the Night King and Cersei's left and they come to kill her, she's like, oh, but remember, I said I would help you. So it's just to me, it was just a pure BS scene at the end. I was a little bit angry because at this point, I'm looking at Tyrion like, how are you letting this happen? How are you letting this happen? That's all I got.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it still, showing proof that, Tyrion's plans are not the brightest this season. They're not working out the way they should be. But yeah, I loved everything you ladies had to say. I appreciate y'all sharing the knowledge. Now we will go to Dragonstone, and that will pretty much wrap up the parlay. Let's see. After Cersei says she'll help, we see everybody back at Dragonstone with the map table, and Jorah thinks that Dany should fly in the north so she can avoid any possible assassins. Jon thinks it's more important that they arrive together by ship so the north can actually see that they are allies together. And of course, Jorah gives the hurt face when Dany sides with Jon on the matter. So, we cut to after that meeting, Theon asks to speak with Jon privately. He remembers when they were, he questions a little bit why Jon actually told the truth at that point, and they conversate a little bit about that. And Theon reminisces, like, when they were back in the North and growing up, Jon always seemed to know the right thing to do. And they discussed that for a little bit. Jon says that he doesn't always think he's had great ideas. There's plenty of things he regrets. And Theon says, well, there's things I regret more. You can't really compete with him on that. And Jon agrees, yeah, he did fuck up. Not as much as Theon did, but he did fuck up, both of them. So then, let's see, Theon says, he always tried to be the right type of person, but he never knew what that was because he felt he had to choose either between Stark or being an Ironborn. And Jon says, our father, which I thought was great because it's basically, I took it as a little bit of a nod for us book readers because in the book, Theon says that, my real father died in King's Landing, and he was talking about Ned. So, Jon tells him, you don't need to choose. You are a Stark and you're also a Greyjoy. And then he starts, lamenting about Yara and how he left her and she's the only one that came to try to save him when he was captured. And he needs her now. So Jon's like, well, why the fuck you still talking to me? Go get her. I did really appreciate that interaction with them. I thought it was very heartfelt and it needed to happen. They had to come to some type of closure. Jon says he can't forgive anything and can't forgive everything, but the bit that he can, he does. And that basically squashes all the beef with them. So Theon goes and talks to the Ironborn, and one guy bucks up and says, well, you're a coward. You left your sister, and we shouldn't listen to you for anything. They come to fisticuffs, as that's how Ironborn solve their problems. And Theon, on a lucky break, since he does not have his genitals anymore, ends up winning the fight. After he took a brutal beating, but he won the fight eventually. And then now he's off to go save his sister. And I'm hoping that he'll be able to, but I don't know. You know how things end up with Theon. So let's go again. We'll start with you, T baby, and just go down the line.
Okay, you tossed a lot out. What are we talking about?
Everything that happened at Dragonstone.
Lord, I don't even know what really happened. Like I said, I didn't really care for this episode. So I'm gonna be just like Beauty Queen, probably don't have much to say. As far as the back and forth of how they should go to the North, I mean, it would make sense for Dany to take the side of Jon instead of Jorah because they kind of shunned Jorah out because of what he did. So that's that. I'm just ready for Jorah to die. Call me petty if you want. Every time he touches stuff, it just makes my skin crawl. He should have died. Last episode should have fell off that dragon. I know I'm being petty for that. I'm trying to think what else happened between as far as Dragonstone. Not much really did happen. They just was talking about how they were going to go to the North, and you saw that instead of if it was season 4, season 5, when Jorah kind of was the one who swayed Dany away from her lover's idea. He thought he was going to do it again, but she really likes Jon, I guess. The whole idea just kind of grosses me out about that, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about what actually happened at Dragonstone because not really much, in my opinion, did happen.
All right, I can feel it. Sam?
Okay, so I loved Dragonstone for many reasons. So the whole conversation when Jorah suggests Dany fly to the North on her dragon, everyone who knows anything about the North at all, even just a little bit, knows that that is not what you do. You do not fly a dragon to the North by yourself. They will take it as a threat. She has to go with Jon. She can bring her dragons along, but she cannot fly her dragons to the North. White Harbor will go nuts. for the second scene with John and Theon, I loved this scene so much because you guys know I fight you guys all the time on this. Theon has PTSD. He's not himself. I think this was Theon coming out of it just a little bit. He's getting out of his reek stage. He's becoming Theon again. He's seeing his wrongs. He's asking John for forgiveness. He's admitting he did things wrong and he's messed up a lot and he needs to go back. But at the same time, I think John's point to Theon was the right point to make. Look, he was your father too. Ned raised him. He raised him in the north. And I think it took Theon going back to Pike and going back to the Iron Islands and having his father treat him so badly and then having Ramsay torture the poor guy, like torture him. I think Theon's the one character, he's been through more than probably anyone else in the show that would mess people up. And I think he's now finally seeing the error of his ways, what he did wrong, and he's saying, I need my sister. I want to be there for you, and I want to be there for, you know, to help you guys, but I need Yara. And I hope to God that he saves Yara, because I love Yara too. Asha, Yara, whatever you want to call her. I love her. I love that character. She's pretty awesome. And I really kind of hope that Arya meets her. So, yeah, that's what I have to say.
I like it. Manaro.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the plan to go back to Winterfell because I think, yeah, whatever. I did like the scene between John and Theon. In my mind, I'm sorry, give me 1 second, y'all.
Manaro in auntie mode.
Don't beat the babies. Please don't beat the babies.
I'm not beating nobody.
God, lies.
I'm not beating nobody. Please not think that I'm beating anybody's child.
I like the cartoons. Leave them in the background.
Okay. No, because I know it's kind of loud, and I didn't want to have y'all compete to hear what I had to say, but I'm gonna try to make it quick. I like this scene because John and Theon are more alike than they know, because they were both raised by a man that wasn't their father, but that wasn't their biological father, but was their dad for all intents and purposes. You know what I mean? Because he was the one that taught them how to be men, how to be warriors. He was the one that instilled values, in the values that, at least he tried to instill values in the both of them. And it just so happened that one, you know, who thought that was his actual father, internalized a lot of it. And then the other one felt conflicted about internalizing it, because up until the time that Theon went to go see his father, he was a Stark. And when his... Daddy, okay, I'm sorry, hold on. Up until the time that he went to go see his actual father, he was a Stark. And so when his father challenged his identity as being a Greyjoy, that's when Theon became even more conflicted. And so I think John gave Theon what it was that he needed. And I think the words that John spoke to him actually gave Theon gave Theon peace, and it allowed him to be able to find whatever inner strength that I guess he needed. Now that he's at peace, knowing that he doesn't have to choose, that he can be both. to go and do what it is that he needed to do. Because for a long time, Theon was caught between two worlds. And if you read Theon's chapters in the books, you can see that. I mean, he's an asshole, yes, don't get me wrong, he's a true asshole, but when you read his inner thoughts, he is in constant conflict with himself. And shameless plug for Radio Westeros's video on Theon. They did a whole character analysis on Theon that is really spot on. So I would highly recommend that if you guys listen to that. But I think John's words to Theon actually gave him what it was that he was looking for the whole time, and that is to say, you're good enough. You don't have to be one or the other. You are a Stark and you are a Greyjoy, and you are the best of both, and you're good enough. So don't stress about it. You know what I mean? You don't have to keep doing a lot of dumb shit trying to figure out who you are anymore. This is who you are. And that was and I think that's what gave him the courage to go off and, you know, face the men, you know, face the Ironborn men in order to go do what he needed to go save his sister. And that's all I got to say about that.
I appreciate those thoughts. Let us skip over now to Professor Diligence. What you got for us, B?
Dragonstone was a couple of things, right? The first thing that, of course, is going to stick out, that the advice of Jorah, but instead takes the advice of Jon. It immediately made me think of Olenna Tyrell. It goes right there. She's trusting the idiot. Olenna told her, like, I've had lots of wise men tell me things, and the way that I outlive all of these wise men. And so she ignored the wise older man that is, and, you know, advice, who honestly and truly knows more about the North. So that's the smarter thing to do anyway. I'm a little bit concerned, again, with Tyrion, that Tyrion didn't step in here and say, well, politically speaking, it would make more sense if Daenerys showed up with Jon, you know, so that she doesn't look like she's conquering it. But it was kind of left up to Dany to say that, you know, I'm there to save the North and not conquer it. But I do think it's a good move on their part. And of course, it teed up some dragon wolf sex for us, which was great. The second part of that is Jon and Theon, which I thought it was just interesting. I think we all sort of waited for Jon and Theon to have some sort of actual confrontation about things, or like something, right? Some sort of settling of everything. And it just didn't really happen the way that we wanted it to. I expected for there to be more, I don't know, anger, more ire on the side of Jon, and I expected there to be more repentance, I guess, on the side of Theon. But I guess since they've been traveling around and being around each other, it just had a point where it's like, you know, I'm sorry, right? Yeah. So I appreciate Jon taking the high road and saying, anything that I can forgive, I forgive you, you know. And again, to me, this is the second stage of de-reeking. The third stage of de-reeking is, you know, when he gets to the beach. But the first part of the episode where he saw Euron and didn't look away, and then this time he went to Jon to go ahead and face his demons with that too. So another Sam, Theon kind of deserves the trap that came at him. Theon, like, think about what would not have happened or what could have happened if Theon didn't do what he did. You know, Robb isn't perfect, the Starks aren't perfect, but he kind of screwed stuff up for everybody for a very long time. So there's that. And then I guess the ending scene at Dragonstone would be Theon going on the beach and basically, you know, pulling a Rocky, like, I'm gonna get up. I don't care how many times I'm hit. I'm gonna get up just to show you, like, I want to go and get my sister, you know. And if nothing else, I'm like, dang, Theon's getting his behind whooped. But then I said to myself, he's got heart. Like, Theon got that heart. And then when dude decided to be him in the man parts, which he doesn't have anymore, Try that with the Unsullied, you probably get your throat like slit open. He needs him in the man parts, that doesn't work, and then you see it. It's like it clicks all of a sudden. Like, I'm Theon, but I'm a different kind of Theon. You know what I'm saying? I'm Ironborn, but I'm a different kind of Ironborn. And that's when he went with it. After that, I saw Theon put in the work with his one good hand, and it was good. I appreciated the scene, you know, as a whole at Dragonstone, because it's setting up obviously what's going to happen for us in season 8. But I would have appreciated some moment that was, I don't know, more tense or something between him and Jon, because what we got wasn't enough for me.
I can dig it. All right, so see you guys in the chat. You know, let us know what some of you guys' thoughts are as well as we go in. I am going. The next scene that we went to was Winterfell, but I'm gonna go ahead and come back to that, and we'll finish off the South with King's Landing. So, Jaime is seen making plans to march all of the banners north. You know, Cersei walks in and basically claims that, you know, she always knew that he was the stupidest Lannister, which is interesting to say because I figured all this time she thought it was Tyrion, but I was wrong. So Cersei then reveals that she lied and had no intentions of helping with the Great War. Jaime tries to tell her that they could die no matter who wins because on one side, the army of the dead is going to just come and wreck shop. And on the other side, they're going to be seen as traitors and still going to get wiped out. So he should just be doing the right thing and honor the oath that they made. So Cersei goes on to question why Dany only had 3 dragons. She sees that as some type of advantage that she can exploit. She lets him know that Euron didn't actually leave. You know, she says this thing, you know, like nobody walks away from me, you know, because she thinks she's the shit like that. So Euron's going to go to Essos and get the Golden Company, 20,000 soldiers with elephants and some other extracurricular thing that's in their group. I don't think 20,000 would be enough, but that's what she paid for, I guess, with the gold from Highgarden. Jaime is pretty much flabbergasted to see that Cersei made all of these plans without him, and he's supposed to be the leader of her army. You know, and again, she says, no one walks away from me. That's just what it is. I did what I had to do. And she accuses Jaime of conspiring against her with Tyrion. When Jaime says he's going to keep his promise and he starts to walk away, the mountain blocks his exit. And, you know, he asks Cersei, basically, we go through the same thing that just happened with Tyrion. He asks Cersei if she's going to kill him, and she gives the nod to the mountain, and the mountain pulls his sword. But nothing happens. And Jaime was like, yeah, I don't believe you. And he walks out and leaves. And I don't know if it's maybe just me, but she followed him for a few steps. And the look on her face was almost like she could tell she had gone a touch too far in his book. Like she knows she's probably just lost Jaime completely. And she's like having this inner dialogue in her head like, damn, I fucked up. But she doesn't say anything. She just ends up watching him leave. So after that, you know, we see him starting to ride off by himself. I'm actually surprised that he didn't go and get Bronn, but he starts riding off by himself while it starts to snow. And I'm assuming that he's headed to the north on his own. So at least he, for his own, you know, well-being, I guess, to keep his honor, he is on the road, and I think he's headed to the north to fight. So, ladies, give me your thoughts on that. T-Baby, let's go back to you.
Okay, so we just talking about Cersei and Jaime, right?
Yes, the final scene at King's Landing.
Okay, so I'm just gonna. It's so sad how I watch TV sometimes because, like I said in the chats, I was screaming for her to do it. I was like, do it, bitch. Just fucking do it. I thought Jaime was going to die. I was like, you know what? This will probably be somewhere it's like, it's a twist because so far no one's died. And for that scene, she'd rather kill Jaime than for him to just leave her. I thought it was going to happen. I was getting excited. And I should have fucking known the second that he didn't die fighting Dothraki that he was not going to fucking die. in that scene, and he didn't. But it just shows you that Cersei's all fucking talk and no fucking bite. Like, you keep making these empty threats, and it's the same thing from Tyrion's lesson when he killed Tywin. He was like, you know, you always told me not to make empty threats, and that's exactly what she's doing. So she hasn't learned everything from Mr. Dumbass. But I enjoyed it, but I wanted to see a little bit more between Brienne and Jaime, because I really think that Brienne had a lot to do with the fact that he kind of switched on her, because he seems to check his honor a little bit more when she's around, and he starts to do the right thing. And it is the right thing to do, because he was scared as shit of the Army of the Dead. He doesn't want any parts of this fight. But then you have to understand where Cersei's coming from, because so far Jaime's been she saw Jaime talking to Brienne like they were all nice. Then she saw him. Then of course the meeting with Bronn, that looked suspect. And then of course again he was talking to Tyrion. So it's like every time that I've tried to say something or do something, you're always seen talking to someone I'm against. So she can't really trust him like that, and she doesn't, because she didn't even tell him about the whole Euron situation. And I don't think she could, because I feel like Jaime would have said something. And this also proves that he's not as loyal as everyone keeps thinking, like, oh, Jaime's loyal. And no, he's fucking not, because every time he's really at the a situation where his loyalty really is tested, he always does the opposite thing. So he left her, and it was a smart move, but still, I'm just saying he's not as loyal as people think he is. But basically what she wanted to do was go against his honor, and this is the thing that I didn't care for, because the perfect time for Jaime to leave where it made sense was last season when she blew up the set. That would have been the perfect time, because that's when it's like he has to check his honor again, because she put him in the same situation as the Mad King, except for she actually did it. But I mean, they had to get a reason for him to go, and like I said, it was a smart reason for him to leave. As far as him leaving by himself, I mean, I could care less. I think when it comes to Bronn, either Bronn's already left with him, because I can't see Bronn staying with Cersei or even being by her side, because she's a ticking time bomb, but he knows the numbers. Because like early in the episode, Tyrion even picks up how he's saying, you know, the new queen and all that, like he's going to jump side, which he probably would do. And trying to think what else happened. I mean, I was just so excited to see him die, and the fact that he didn't kind of piss me off. I think that would have been the perfect time for him to go. No one would have really expected, but I guess it had to happen. And last thought I had is that it goes to like the Winterfell scene where they talk about the lone wolf doesn't survive, but the pack survive. It's kind of also implied with the Lannisters, because so far Cersei has no one but this supposedly pregnancy. Like, I know people don't believe she's pregnant, but I still really think she is. But it's that same scenario where the lone wolf doesn't survive, but the pack survives, where you're now by yourself. You don't have Tyrion. You really never did. No, I will say that you did have Tyrion on your side, because no matter what, even like in season 2 and 3, it was best for the family, which included her. It might not have been directly, but he's always protected her to a certain extent. But now she doesn't really have that. And now the main thing you always had was Jaime, and now that's gone. So that's interesting to see. I just don't like how it was executed that's the main reason why he left. But then that goes to, if you would have cut out a little bit of time at the Dragon Pit and focus a little bit more conversation between Jaime and Cersei, or a little bit more conversation really between Jaime and Brienne, I would have probably enjoyed that scene a little bit more. I'm trying to think what else happened, but it was a little too predictable, I think.
All right, Lady Sam.
Okay, so you guys all know that I have this hope that Jaime will redeem himself somehow, some way, because I don't see the ending without Jaime redeeming himself. I don't see him at the end being with Cersei. I've been saying this for I don't know how long. I just don't see it at all. I don't think it'll happen in the books. I can't see it happening in the show. And now my point has been proven. I think he is gone. I think seeing Tyrion and seeing the way Cersei acted and seeing Brienne, finally, it all came together for him and he had the courage to leave. And I think it's like an abusive relationship. He had to find that will to leave. And sometimes it doesn't work. He left and he's come back before. But I think this time it's for good. And I think he's headed up north, or I hope he's headed up north. And I do hope Bronn goes with him, but I don't see Bronn going with him, to be honest. I think Bronn has too much at stake, and he's probably going to stay in King's Landing simply because he has power in King's Landing. I hope he'll change his mind, but he's a sellsword, and he is out to save himself. So I don't know. Maybe he'll take Tyrion up on his offer to, you know, give him twice as much as Cersei and Jaime are giving him, even though Jaime and Cersei have given him nothing. I did think that I did get the feeling that the Mountain wanted to kill Jaime from that scene. But then Cersei kind of called it off. But I think the Mountain really wanted to kill Jaime. I don't think the Mountain likes Jaime. So that's what I have to say. That's what I got from the scene. Go ahead, ladies.
All right, Lady Manaro, I'll do you, then B and T. We'll come back to you. Go ahead, Manaro.
I don't really have much more to add to what was already said. I think these ladies kind of hit a lot of the major points. I never believed that Cersei was gonna honor anything that she said, because she is too bent on world domination. And she was gonna say whatever it is that she needed to say in order to get them to get out of Westeros and head back north. Because once they all leave, it just leaves everything wide open for her to take over. I honestly don't believe that when Euron comes back with the Golden Company that he's gonna bring them to Cersei. I think that Cersei's gonna end up with a rude awakening in that respect, but that's just my own personal belief. Yeah, but I don't really have much. I think all of these. I think the ladies hit pretty much all of the major points with respect to that whole scene with Jaime and Cersei. Yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree that I think Brienne has some sort of an impact on Jaime, more so than he probably realizes, because he talks. The main thing that he talked about was that he made a promise, and that he was going to honor his oath. Before that, he wasn't talking all that jibber jabber. You know what I mean? But now all of a sudden, that's his main reason for kind of like turning his back. And I think he probably realizes that Cersei is like, yo, this trick don't care about me. She's just using me. So I think that probably may have played a part in it. So, and I also agree that Cersei is now pretty much on her own. You know what I mean? The only two people she's got right now are the Mountain and Qyburn. And she's hanging her hopes now on Euron. And Euron, I don't know, the way he was looking at Dany and them dragons, I don't know. He might pull a Orain Waters. I don't know. So that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, when it comes to Euron and Cersei, I think Euron is going to pull a Rorschach on her. And, Jaime's now left her. All she has is the Mountain. But I think she's going to be somewhere alone and thinking she's safe in the Red Keep with Euron. And he's going to drop the bomb like, I'm not in here with you, bitch. You are in here with me. And, that dude outside the door guarding you isn't going to help at all. and I agree with you guys saying that that he's probably going to get the Golden Company and then keep them for himself. You know, he has no reason not to. It's always in his character to betray people. I mean, he's done that to his own family. So what the hell makes Cersei thinks that she's safe? But before we jump to Lady D, T Baby wanted to confirm a theory real quick. Go ahead, T.
Right. So they've been pounding and pounding and pounding how Jon and Lyanna and Rhaegar is Jon's father, but what they really have been pounding is that Jaime's a dumbass. Hear me out. When they were at the Battle Fire 2.0, what did Tyrion say? Don't be a fucking idiot. Of course he did. Dumbass move number one. Then what was it when he was talking to Lady Olenna? He's like, I'm a dumbass. He even admitted. And then now you have this episode where Cersei's like, I knew you were the dumbest person. Like, you are the golden dumbass. So, BBM, I don't want to hear shit anymore. It's been confirmed too many times that he's a dumbass, and even he confirmed it. The sister confirmed it. The father Ben confirmed it. Everyone confirmed that he's a dumbass. So, he'll be the golden dumbass. It has already been sold stamped. You can't dispute it. Sorry. That's it. Go ahead, B.
Yo, hashtag that, folks. Jaime is a golden dumbass. Professor Diligence, give us your thoughts, my lady.
The golden dumbass. He hates his freaking guts. like for real. Jeez. Like I said before, with the Cersei thing,
your volume's a little bit low. That's better.
Got it up to my face. Like she was like, you know, she needs them to do things. There's that, but I also think that Cersei.
Hold on, B, you're robotic now. We didn't.
Left. I think that Cersei realized, oh shit. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Or at least we could 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, I can't hear you, B.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, there you are. Good.
There you are.
Keep going.
Okay. How about now?
Yep.
Nothing.
Now we can hear you.
You're still robotic.
To your point, Sam, I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
All right, B's got to work out some technical stuff. So before we completely leave the South and move on, we'll wait till she comes back so we can hear her thoughts. What do you guys in the chat think about this Cersei situation so far? Let's see. What do we got here? Broke says the Night King was dumb not to kill Dany and the dragon instead of killing Viserion. Yeah. I suppose I can see.
To One's point, Tyrion's been a dumbass just as much as Jaime's been a dumbass this season. So technically, that's not really something to brag about.
True. Let's see. Renee says Cersei screwed. Yeah, I think she is royally so. Let's see. Last Herf Tony says Cersei is drunk on power drunk. She has been power drunk for quite some time now. And it's only going to get worse. B, are you back with us? Maybe not just yet. Can't hear anything.
Yeah. So you guys still can't hear me?
No, there you go.
We can hear you now.
Okay. Oh, I think to your point, Sam, about her going too far, I think that she feels that when Jamie walks, oh, I don't really care, and both of them anyway, because I know they're going to be back or whatever. I think that she does feel it. It kind of has to work that way in order for the prophecy to work out, right? Like Cersei has to get so low to the point to where she cries to the point where she can't cry no more. She has to feel completely and totally abandoned and be completely stripped of power before she gets strangled to death, right? So I think that all the things that we're seeing is a setup for that too. Tyrion leaving anyway, Jamie leaving, the setup with the mountain probably being taken by the Night King, and then Euron Greyjoy, of course, having her ships and her gold and telling her that he's going to come back. She's still massive, like I don't know, but we know that she has to go through all of that anyway in order for her to where the prophecy says that she's gonna die. So that's really all I have to say on that. That whole exchange earlier. Leaving.
What'd you say, B? What was that last part?
He didn't have on any Lannister colors.
No, he did not. I think he was in like that same black.
Did you hear me? So
I mean, you're breaking up again, B.
right, he's looking like a regular dude, like a cell or like Brian, but the Femmings guard. Damn it.
YouTube does not like us, man. I'm convinced.
Let it go if y'all can't, because I don't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I don't know what to do. I don't my bars. I guess what I'm trying to say is Jamie doesn't have on his Lannister's colors, and I think it's interesting because he's not Kingsguard anymore. So realistically, like, you're no longer beholden to an oath to where you can't get married and hold Castle Rock and all of that. If anything, I'd be like, fuck it then. I'm the head of Castle Rock. I'm going to take my swords with me, my household knights, or even people who are sworn to me, anything. But he straight up left on his own. And I thought that was really interesting. I want to know what on coming season. So I think, again, this is just another setup because either Bronn is going to be leading those armies or Bronn is already gone. Because I can't think of why he wouldn't tap Bronn to come with him if he is, he's still there. And yeah, in the interest of not sounding like a robot forever, I think that's pretty much it for that scene.
All right, Sam, you had a question for Lady D?
Yeah, so while you were talking, something popped into my head while you were talking about Euron and everything. So we never got really the story behind the Golden Company being the bastards of, Blackfire bastards and whatever. What if they play off, what if D&D play off that the Golden Company is actually working for the Iron Bank?
That could work. That could work. I do think that they obviously use the Golden Company in order to, to get money back from people and to cause empires to rise and fall, right? But because Cersei paid that money back, I really can't see the Iron Bank then hiring the Golden Company to come get at Cersei. I can see them hiring it for Cersei for them to go to North, but I can't see them hiring them to take it to get at Cersei, if that makes any sense. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't see the Iron Bank having full actual involvement in it because it's pretty much them giving money so that a client could do something, right? Like, you expect the bank to give you the money for the house, but you don't really expect them to help you cut your grass, So I would expect the Iron Bank to give her the money for the house, give her the money for the Golden Company, food, whatever she needs, but I wouldn't expect them to look at it as like, all right, we are doing this to help Cersei take back. Now it's a business transaction. Oh,
no.
We just need money.
No, I mean more in the sense that, okay, yes, Cersei paid back the loan to them, but what if they're just pissed off with Cersei in general? And it's like, this bitch is crazy. We're done with her. Like, we're just gonna screw her now. She played games.
You saw the GRA or not part 1. I know I owe y'all like 4 more parts of that, but that's what I think is going on in the book. The Iron Bank is like, you know, screw the Iron Throne. Done. We was House Lannister. I think that's how they. The way I don't see them bringing it in like that, just because it's like, what motivation do they have? You know. Hello.
Yep.
That's all.
Yeah, I understand.
Right, and BBM, I got these questionable female choices you have, man. Come on, dude. It's about to be over for Cersei. Come out of the Vagina Nebula, please. We're trying to save you. Don't go down with that ship. Anyways, we will now move on to the north. And, you know, there are 2 locations in North Winterfell and Eastwatch. We will start at Winterfell. The first part of which, you know, we see Baelish is still trying to sow discord between Sansa and Arya. You know, Sansa tells him that Arya would kill anyone who betrayed Jon when he suggests that, you know, Sansa should be the one in power. And Baelish questions if Arya would really kill her sister. And he tells Sansa about a game that he likes to play, you know, to figure people's motives out. So Sansa plays the game pretty much in her head, seemingly playing into his hand. And it looks like she's setting up to move against Arya. However, like when me and Sam were watching, Baelish started talking about a game. I said, well, you know, Arya knows a very specific game as well. And it's called the Game of Faces. And you don't want to face a faceless man when they're doing the Game of Faces. But moving on, we see Sansa gives the order to one of her guards to have Arya brought to the Great Hall. The room is filled with what looked to me as only Knights of the Vale. Sansa and Bran are sitting at the head table, and Baelish is also present, leaning against the wall with his signature smirk. Arya asks Sansa if she's really sure that she wants to do this, and Sansa she says it's not anything that I want to do. You know, honor demands that I take action. So Arya asks, well, you know, what exactly is what actions is honor making you do right now? And Sansa goes ahead and lists all the crimes that it's meant for us to think she's saying this to Arya, but at the end she says, Lord Baelish, how do you plead? And Baelish has like the most shocked expression ever. And he's given us a few of those in this season. Like he didn't expect or see a certain thing coming. You know, he looks completely stunned and he tries to talk his way out of it and give, you know, these random explanations over everything that Sansa is accusing him of, you know, starting the war between the Lannisters and the Stark, killing Jon Arryn, killing their aunt, Lysa, you know, putting Lysa and Catelyn at odds with each other, with the assassination of Bran and the dagger that was not Tyrion's but was his. And Baelish tries and tries to, you know, make excuses and get out of being punished. He even, you know, begs Lord Royce to, you know, he's supposed to be, you know, the guardian of the Vale until Sweet Robin is of age and is able to take over. So he should be able to be escorted back to the Eyrie safely. And Lord Royce is just sitting and looking at him like, yeah, I think not. Bitch, no. I never liked you, and I'm really not going to like you right now. So, you know, Baelish ends up looking like that scared punk-ass little kid from the smallest finger in the fingers. And he gets on his knees and tries to cry and beg, and the Starks, the pack is not having any of it. Bran did that thing again where he hit Littlefinger with his exact lines and sayings and everything that happened at King's Landing when he betrayed Ned Stark. And after a while, you know, it becomes too much. You know, Arya became the hand of justice, and she swiped that motherfucker in the throat quicker than Grey Worm did to them punk ass slavers in Marine, and the shit was awesome. Justice, finally. Littlefinger pissed off too many damn Starks in one setting, and he finally got. You would think he would have been smarter and known to stop fucking with the Starks. He should have been out the north. If he was actually being himself, he would have left before the damn season started. But he fucked up, and now he got dead. So, T-Baby, give me your thoughts, please.
Okay, I like Littlefinger. I like Bran more, but I laughed so hard. And it's just the crackle in his voice. He's like, I love you. And I was like, oh, I don't want to see him go out. Like I love Littlefinger's character and how he's so witty and he gets out of these situations. But like, he was like, bitch, excuse me. Like, what? I didn't care for the scene for the reason why it didn't make sense for Sansa to bring out Arya in front of everyone about treason, that would just divide the North. It's the same thing why I didn't think it made sense that Arya would use a letter to out Sansa, knowing that it would kind of divide the North and there's a bigger threat. It just didn't make sense. So part of me didn't like that, but of course, at the end, it's a payoff because you see that they were kind of talking to each other. I think that this also suffers from, you should have gave us an extra minute or two with this scene so that it flowed a little bit better. It's just my personal opinion, but that man, he went out like a bitch, and it makes me think that this is probably what happened when he was fighting with Brandon. Since that now Catelyn was like, look, he's not going to do anything, because if he sounded the same way he did and that Winfell scene back with Brandon, I would even vouch for Littlefinger and be like, he ain't gonna do shit. Like, I heard him, the bitch just came out, some of the characters, they joke about death and say they never tell you how they shit themselves. I feel like that's what Littlefinger, he was like, oh, protect me, and the Veil was like, we don't want any parts. Like, the only reason we were bound to listen to you is because of Sweet Robin, all that, but you're a murderer, so fuck no. Like, what the fuck we look like protecting you? So, I mean, and then again, I didn't care for it because it was a little too predictable that she was talking. The second I saw Bran sitting there, I was like, okay, it's a setup, because Bran's not just going to chill, no matter if he's a three-eyed raven or not. He's not just going to chill and be out there to calm while they are putting a trial on for Arya. I will say it was curtains. The second he said, I like to play a game. And I was like, so basically you're telling Sansa exactly how to catch you in a lie and saying, like, what's the worst thing you could do and all that. And it's like, you're putting the pieces together. But I really wish that we saw, like, all they would have had to do was show a scene where Sansa was like, we need to talk, and maybe open the door, and it's Bran, because she knows that he has visions. And then that payout at the end would have been so much better. But it's like, you rush this episode so much. A lot of the stuff is off scenes, and it's just like, it makes no sense to me. It kind of makes the scene seem rushed. And so it's like, okay, I mean, don't get me wrong. I did enjoy him going down like a bitch because I think shit like that's funny. I didn't care for it because it was kind of predictable in a way, if that makes sense. So that's it.
I feel you. And just, sidebar to the chat, like, everybody's talking about Lady Olenna and her cleverness in dealing with dumbass individuals like Littlefinger, and she was the queen of shade. When I get to be that woman's age, hopefully I get to be that woman's age, I want to have enough shade to throw like she does. She didn't have to think twice about anything. She read you in 2 seconds, and you didn't know how to even handle that shit. You just froze up. Lady Olenna, you were awesome. We shall never see her like again, sadly. So, Lady Sam, go ahead and give us what you got.
Okay, so if you watched the live stream with AK, you saw my reaction. I was pissed when they brought Arya in there because I had no clue what was going on. I was like, wait, what? And AK had the same reaction. We were both like, no, no, what's Sansa doing? I was agreeing with Timo. I was like, Sansa's horrible. And then my mind was blown. I didn't see it coming. I hoped and prayed that Sansa would get her mind right. And I finally got it. I got what I wanted to see. I saw that family moment with Bran and Sansa and Arya teaming up, and it made me so happy. And I don't care how much of a psychopath I sound like right now. When Arya slit Littlefinger's throat, I did a happy dance. I did the most amazing happy dance, and you can all see it. Just go watch AK's video from Sunday night. It was spectacular. It was epic. I don't even know what to say. The only thing that would make me happier is Nymeria writing in afterwards. I think where this whole scene is going, and me and T were going back and forth about this earlier, I honestly think that at this point, after seeing what happened that episode, I think that Arya is taking Littlefinger's face and Arya is going to King's Landing to get justice for her whole family. So we will see what happens, but that is what I'm so hoping will happen. And yes, I still have hope that Nymeria will come back at some point with her pack. But go ahead, Lady Manaro. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, agreed. That shit was so damn lit when it got to that point. Yeah, go on my channel, shameless plug. Go on my channel and you'll see me, my homegirl Enid, and Sam. We all did a reaction video together while we were watching, and that shit was just epic. That shit had me so damn hyped up. I slipped into my West Indian excited speech for a little bit. It's actually quite comical when that happens. It always comes out the blue. But
hold on, Lady D, I'm not evil. It's just the little bit of psychopath in me that really got happy when he died.
I mean, I did too. I laughed and cheered. Finally, justice! Fuck Littlefinger. Go ahead, Manaro.
It would have been better if it was Jaime.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm like T. I'm with T baby. I don't like the way that we got here, but that scene was I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Littlefinger whole death scene, like the whole how everything played out in the Great Hall. I enjoyed how all of them played a role in, like, as part of a pack. Everybody has a role to play in the pack, and I like the way that all of them played a role in making sure that the outsider got.
Cutting out a little bit, Manaro.
I can't hear you.
I don't know. Did we lose her?
Say pineapple.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
Hey, with the pineapples, you're making me
You know that's our safe word. You know that's our safe word.
But every time you say it, I think of ginger ale chats, and I just start laughing.
Pineapples, I don't want it. No, we cannot bring up ginger ale chat right now.
Well, while we waiting on we never did get that story.
What story?
I haven't forgotten.
What you talking about? Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's about...
Okay, I know. Damn it, I know. I'm sorry. I've been wrapped up in the 100. I got an awesome plot line for that damn story. I've been enthralled in that and my Game of Thrones story. I'm sorry, Charlie Murphy. I'm sorry. Manaro, what's your
Dragon Bottom?
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Hey, say it again.
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. And now you're gone again. All right, Manaro, try jumping out and then jumping back in. We'll switch over to Lady D while we're waiting. Go ahead, B.
Sam, you're a psychopath. I don't care. No, you're not. I'm crazy too, but you are also a psychopath. Get out of here, yo. Did you say that when this man got his throat slit, you did a happy dance?
I did, and you can watch it. It was live.
I did go back and watch, and I shall enjoy. I shall enjoy. All right. So the whole scene at Winterfell, my whole thing is like you felt it. You felt it coming. Sansa was standing outside looking like a dang White Walker, all pale in the snow, like she was very cold. She should not have been standing out there like that. They could have wrapped her up a little bit better. Like, why you just had her standing like that? Walks past the guards, go get my sister. We already know what it is. I already know what it is. I'm like, oh, it's about to go down. Littlefinger is about to die in like 3 minutes, right? Because we've been waiting for this. Like, come on, this is the scene. There's no way that you're actually bringing Arya in here to do nothing to her. But then you see all the knights and everybody's around them. And I'm like, come on, Sansa, please tell me that the little bit of faith that I have in you now, which was so hard to get because I hate you, you're just going to throw it out the window. But then she starts talking about murder and treason. I'm like, oh, that's definitely not Arya. And she's like, how do you plead? Peter Baelish. And that was it. The look on his face, y'all, listen, y'all would have thought this was Maury and somebody told him, Peter, you are the father.
You are the father.
you are the father, Peter. He was like, what? What are you talking about? He grabbed the table. He was like, somebody shaking the table. He was like, what are you talking about? No, but I loved your mama. And I love you. And I love everybody. And I'm on my knees in a $900 suit. Like, that's how he was looking. Like, just totally. And I couldn't, be honest with y'all, as much as I don't like Littlefinger, I love the character of Littlefinger, right? So following with this, like, I enjoy how ridiculously manipulative this man is and how ridiculously ahead he is. He's the closest thing we had to a three-eyed raven before we knew that there was one. Like, Littlefinger had his hand in everything, knew what was happening, knew what was going on, and was able to control and influence it. So to see him die like that, for me, is another reason why I have to roll back the rating of the episode down from a 6.5 to a 6.32. I cannot believe you let Littlefinger die like that on his knees. Just, that's it. Littlefinger, that was, for me, it was like, damn, that's like how y'all killed the Blackfish off screen. I was expecting whatever to happen with Littlefinger for it to be larger and more Littlefinger-ish. Like, I expected it to be a comeuppance where he would lose things, piece by piece, and then lose his life type of thing. Something where you would scare him and draw it out and, pay him back for all of the stuff that he did to everybody else. But it was more so he was just sentenced to death and Arya just took him out. The scene as a whole, I really enjoyed it because it seemed like it was something that was, planned out beforehand and planned out quite in advance. So I think that plays into a lot of our theories before when we were talking about Arya not being aware of Littlefinger and how she should be. Because when Bran says, this is what you said, he repeated the line that he said to Ned about the knife. He also, Arya repeated a line that Littlefinger said too. And the only way she would have been able to get that is from Bran. So Bran has obviously been talking to his sisters, and the pack is intact. So I thought that was something great to glean from it. Like, he's obviously sharing the information, but I really expected Littlefinger's death to be something that was going to make... I wanted a Littlefinger-like type death for him. Not Littlefinger, I'm sorry. A Joffrey-like death for him, Something extremely memorable. But this, it was just so quick for it to be Littlefinger, just one slice to the throat. I thought it was a little bit disappointing.
I can dig it. Manaro, you back with us, my lady?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Take the mic. Go for it.
Sorry about the burping child, okay? Hopefully I'm not going to repeat anything that anybody else said, but the one main thing that I got from it was that I enjoyed with it is that how all of them played a role in trying to get this done. I think I said that before. I don't know if you guys heard that, but I like how each of them had a role to play in meeting out justice to Littlefinger. And I would have liked them taking him to the heart tree and beheading him. That, to me, that I would have enjoyed that better, and then putting his head on a spike. But then I guess that's just me being a little bit over the top. But that is the main thing that I enjoyed about that whole scene, is how each one of them had played a specific role, and they each had a say. It wasn't just Sansa talking, because he primarily had a relationship with Sansa. He didn't really have a relationship with any of the other two. But it was good to see how each of them had something to say with respect to, condemning him for the role that he actually played in the demise of their entire family, because essentially he was the reason why the War of the Five Kings started. I mean, he was the reason why the whole conflict started. And the way he went out, I agree with T that he went out like a straight, BI. But I would have liked it. I would have thought that it would have been great if he had actually been beheaded and not just his throat sliced. But I'll take that. That works, I guess, for the scene. I mean, because they gotta move things along, so they gotta do what they gotta do, I guess, in order to get the story moving. That's all I have to say about that.
Word, yeah, I agree on all points with all of you ladies. I particularly love that scene. Like Sam said, if you watch the reaction video that we did, we were both cheering. I don't know, maybe that makes us a bit morbid for cheering when someone dies, but damn it, Littlefinger had that shit coming. You do not get to piss off 2 different generations of Starks and still live to the end of the story, bruh. That's just how it goes. You had to go. It was your time. You done too much shit to be able to survive. It's a wrap. So we're going to jump over to the second part of Winterfell. And this will be our last little bit in Winterfell going on. See, back at Winterfell, Sam and Gilly and the ungrowing child that is little Sam show up. And, Sam and Bran have their reunion. And Bran actually showed like a little bit of emotion there, saying, well, Tarly, it's good to see you. You helped us get past the wall and helped me to get to my goal. You're a good man. And all that good stuff, and Sam asks what he's been up to. Well, no, Bran asks why he's there first, and Sam says he's here to help Jon fight the army of the dead. He knows this is a heavy battle that Jon has to go into because he's seen the army of the dead, and he knows Jon can't do it by himself. So Bran tells him that, Jon is on his way back home and he needs to speak with him soon because he needs to know the truth. He's not their father's son. He's actually his cousin. He is Lyanna's son. And since he was born in Dorne, that his last name is Sand. And Sam corrects him by telling him about, the passage that Gilly found in the Archmaester's old journals. And as they continue to talk, we get a little bit of a flashback with Rhaegar and Lyanna actually being married by this Archmaester. And, we see a little bit of the wedding. I thought Rhaegar looked a little too much like Viserys with that hairdo. I thought for a while, actually, that it was Harry Lord playing him, but it wasn't. I expected Rhaegar to be a whole hell of a lot prettier, but, they picked the guy that they did, so whatever. And after the wedding, Bran keeps going, and we go back to the Tower of Joy, and we see that Lyanna tells Ned that Jon's name is Aegon. I have an issue with that, a very big issue, because why the fuck would they name him Aegon? But anyway, we'll get into that later. You know, and also as they continue to talk, you know, we see as John's story progresses a little bit that John is outside of a door getting ready to knock. I'm thinking that maybe, you know, they sped fast forward and he's outside of Bran's chamber listening to Bran and Sam talk, but he's actually still on the boat outside of Dany's chamber. And he knocks on the door and she opens, and, you know, they again have the eye sex, and she allows him to enter. And of course, you know, John Harris happens. It goes into effect. You know, we all saw it coming. A lot of people don't like it. I don't really feel any type of way about it at all. They're Targaryens. That's what Targaryens have always done. So yeah, that's not for what our world perspective is, but they don't live in our world. So I can just pass by that. It's not a big deal to me. Let's see. Then in the middle of that, you know, we see Tyrion is for whatever reason being a creepy ass stalker in the hallway, watching as John goes into the room. And even after he goes in, Tyrion's standing there for a good long while. And I don't know if he's maybe jealous of John, or if he's seeing that, you know, he's going to lose sway in guiding Dany to John because they're now maybe a couple. I don't know. It just seemed really creepy, and Tyrion needs to not be creepy as fuck. But again, but then after that, we cut back to Winterfell, and we see the Stark sisters talking on one of the top of one of the walls. And they basically, you know, they talk about Littlefinger's execution, and they basically tag team what Ned's advice to the boys always were. You know, the man that gives the sentence has to swing the sword. Well, Sansa ain't about that life. You know, she gave the sentence. Arya is the stranger for all intents and purposes, so she carried out the execution. You know, that's their role. All of the Starks, when it came to Littlefinger in that final scene, they all played their role and catered to their strength. You know, Bran had the vision to come with the proof. Sansa also had knowledge of the proof, and she played Littlefinger's game against him. Arya is the faceless man, badass warrior, so she became the executioner and gave him the death, you know, gave him the gift. And, you know, they talk for a little bit, and they have a really cool sister moment. Well, I thought it was nice. You know, Sansa says that, you know, you are like one of the strongest people. You are the strongest person that I know. After Arya says that she couldn't have survived what Sansa went through. And I fully think that is true. You know, I've always said these girls are two sides of the same coin. Were their places switched, Sansa would not have survived. Arya would not have survived. They were in the right places they needed to be to get to this moment together and finally come together as a pack. You know, and Arya says, you know, that's the nicest thing you ever said to me. And Sansa was like, yeah, well, you know, you still strange and annoying, but, you know, you my sister. You know, they said it without words. They love each other. And that's what matters with the pack. And then they lament a little bit about how much they both miss Ned. And they, again, tag team with his other mantra. You know, when the cold winds blow and winter comes, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. And they did all those lines back and forth with each other, and I thought that was a really, really good growth moment for them. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to play out in the upcoming season. So, my ladies, let's go with you, T-Baby. We'll go back around down the line. T, you start.
Okay, because me and Sam were kind of going back and forth. No matter how many ways you look at it, it still grosses me the fuck out that they're having sex. And what makes it even worse is that narrating that they're related while they're having sex. So it grosses me out. It's like, yeah, oh, he's the same. No, he's really the son of Rhaegar as he's in Dany. It's gross. It's like, I get what they were trying to do, but in my head, I'm like, you're basically breaking down why this is so fucked up right now. So it's not really that bad right now because they don't know, but it's going to be awkward. And yeah, in this series, you know, it's not that abnormal, but ways you kick it, it's still going to gross me the fuck out, just like with Jaime and Cersei. And it's the same excuse that they use about them actually having incest is that the Targaryens used to do it. Well, they're just as gross as you guys are. Like, as far as Sansa and Arya, I mean, all of this stuff it was kind of a little bit boring. I wish that they would have focused more on the scene of Arya and Sansa and Bran actually talking to each other, something to fill that in more than at the end where she's saying the pack survived. Another thing that kind of pissed me off, and I know this is going to be like, really, but I'm tired of people telling me that Rhaegar and Leon is Jon's parents. Like, I fucking know this already. You've said this, like, what, 2 seasons now? Like, I get it. The only person who really needs to fucking know, they don't even tell them, and it's, like, annoying because this was, like, what, 90 minutes? You had time to address it. Instead, you want to just wait a little bit longer. Like, no, I'm over this setup shit. You've been setting shit up for like the past 6 seasons. This season should have been action, should have been getting things done. And the way that they shot it, once again, just kind of pissed me off because they should have stuck a little bit longer on the scene with them. And all you give us is a 30-second shot of them tying a ribbon and calling it a fucking day. That annoys the fuck out of me. So this conversation between Bran and Sam, it's like, it's pointless because you've told us this already. We get it. Just fucking tell Jon he's not a bastard, he's royalty, and keep it moving. Then this is what irritates me, but I saw it coming. They named him Aegon, and I could have sworn they already named him Aegon. I think Kelly in the chat said it. I had the same thought, and I was like, is this George Foreman where you just name all your kids Aegon or some shit like that? It just annoyed me. I thought I was going to enjoy this season finale, but I didn't. That's one thing that I didn't. Like I said, I'm really ready to talk about the Night King. This was just stupid. Grossed me out once again. The fact that they're having sex and Brandon's in the background narrating why they're related is very disgusting. It's not poetic. It's not romantic. It's just disgusting to me. That's really it.
Okay, so now it's my turn, and I'm going to rebuttal T and Eli and everyone else in the chat because we've been going back and forth. I know that you guys think it's gross, and yes, in real life, it is disgusting. 100% agree with you. But in this world, those of us who've read the books know a little bit more of the backstory. In the show, we don't get it as much. Everyone in this entire thing is married to their cousin or they're all related. None of them are free and clear of this incest. Everyone is related. Look, the only thing I see a problem with, because I can't suspend my imagination that far, is the twin thing, just simply because it's like, you guys were in the same womb together. I just don't like why. It's like having sex with yourself. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I can see why Cersei does it because she wants to have sex with herself. Well, she wants to be Jaime. So whatever. That's the part that really bothers with me, is more the way Cersei's mind works. It has nothing to do with the actual incest part of it, because I've come to the understanding that in this story, in this series of books and this TV show, this is how it goes. They have incestuous relationships all the time. So I've just come to the understanding that I'm okay with it. But yes, I get your point, T. Bran narrating it over them having sex was a little weird. I was just like, why is this going on? I don't understand. Tyrion standing outside the door was weird. Jorah watching them or sulking outside was uncalled for. No one wants to see Jorah anymore. Really, I'm over Jorah. Like, he had a good moment last episode. Now I'm done with him. I don't care what anyone has to say. Jon's ass was my eye candy. Now, I have to appreciate the man's ass. He has a beautiful ass. The Arya and Sansa scenes, again, anything with Arya makes me happy. I do a happy dance. I'm like totally 100% biased on this. So I'm just not even going to say it because it's always the same thing. I love her. I love her. I love everything that happens with her. So we can move on, and me and T will fight in the chat some more.
One thing I forgot to say was that Jon Strogain was just so sad. It was worse than Ramsay. And I know y'all were looking at his ass. I was just like, this is so sad. What happened to the Lord's kiss? Like, I mean, if y'all gonna give us some sex scenes, give us some good sex scenes. I mean, no, you know what? It's gross. See, it wasn't meant to be, because maybe her box was rejecting him because they're related. I don't know, but this sex scene, everybody was so pumped to see. I don't know why, but everybody was pumped to see, and then it was just like, this is it, like, ugh. And then, like I said, it wasn't romantic because they have basically Brand, who's probably watching them have sex as well, explain this whole thing. I just grossed myself out. Never mind.
Oh, that is why I love tea. All right, Lady Manaro, what you got?
Oh God, my head hurts. Okay, so I'm with T with this. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I skipped that whole scene. I didn't even bother to watch it because I just was not about that life. And what really, okay, so I understand Sam's point to incestuous relationship, but them people entered those relationships knowingly, like whether they wanted to get into those relationships or not, they knowingly got into those relationships. Them two don't know. And I'm with T Baby also. You've been setting this whole thing about John's legitimacy for like, well, I started watching last season and they've been building it since last season. And here you are this season and you still don't tell this kid that he's legitimate. Like, I think what really pisses me off about it is you have these two get into this relationship and they don't know that they are related. It's only going to make it that much more worse for them when they find out what their relation is. I mean, and I can say that especially for John because of the way that John is, how he is made, like how his brain functions. For Danny, it may not be so bad for her because she was raised as a Targaryen, but John was raised as a Stark, and he has a set of principles that he was raised as. And for him, I know that's gonna be like, he's already a person that gets emo like at the drop of a hat. I can't even imagine how this is gonna really like mess with his psyche once he finds out that he screwed his aunt. I mean, like, at least if they were going to do it, let them do it knowingly. Don't make them do it without them knowing. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I'm with T. I'm sick of this freaking incest stuff. You already had Jaime and Cersei. Great. The Targaryens had been doing it for decades, but there is no longer a need for them to relationships. I understand that back in the day, they didn't really probably have nobody, so they married cousins and cousins all the time. But after a while, once you start, branching outside of your region, you start to marry into other, into other families. Is what they started to do. So you now understand that you do not have to keep, marrying within your bloodline. You can marry outside of your bloodline. So them trying to keep this whole thing, I just don't agree with it. I thought it was nasty. That I skipped over it. I didn't even bother to watch it because I am not about to support this. And that's all I got to say about that, really. I'm just gonna say I'm on team side with the situation, and I just added my 2 cents about the.
I can dig it. Professor Diligence.
Lucky you.
Okay. To be real with you guys, the only thing that I found interesting about either one of those two scenes, one with Arya and Sansa, basically having a John Sansa moment at the top, right? And then the lone wolf, that was cute. All right. But the thing that I got out of all of that was the fact that Danny's definitely having a baby. And so I started focusing on like the book to show thing and the prophecy, right, about Dany. And so I started trying to figure out, okay, so are the showrunners just going to leave this as a big plot hole, the whole Miri Mazdur prophecy, or have they done something to sort of satisfy it? And I think that they've done something to satisfy it. And that's what I was looking at when I was looking at that scene, to be honest with you. And that's all I got. I wasn't really grossed out by it. I feel you though, T. What about the Lord's kiss? Motherfuckers be forgetting about the Lord's kiss in real life. So we shouldn't be expecting to see it every time on TV. There you go. And then that's about it. I wish it was better. I wish it was more romantic. I wish it was, you know, something, I don't know, I guess romantic. But I don't know. Danny just be like, whatever, boy, get in here and get this dragon tang. And he did it. As far as the getting to see Lyanna and Rhaegar married, what a freaking ripoff. And this is another reason why the episodes gets a 6.32 from me. Like, are you serious? Did y'all really give me an hour and 20-minute long episode and give me approximately 45 seconds of Rhaegar and Lyanna? I didn't even see them good. I didn't see anything. All I saw was the damn marriage. Like, that's it. Like, it was such, I was expecting there to be something else, some sort of action. Maybe show her running from Harrenhal or whatever. And is that even the God's Eye? Where are they? Like, we just didn't get enough information at all. It was just like, this is boo-boo doo-doo. They're just basically just, I don't know, trying to fill in the holes. Like, oh, his parents got married. See? We told y'all, and I kind of feel like that scene was useless. I could have gone without it. What I wanted to see when I saw Rhaegar and Lyanna was something. I didn't want to see them standing in front of a tree reciting the same lines that Robb Stark recited with the Volunteer girl. Like, we've seen this before, and I was really bored by it. I was honestly disappointed. That's it. End rant. I'm unhappy.
I feel you on that. I really do. T-Baby, you said you had something else?
Yeah, I just, first of all, she's so fucking funny. But I just want to say, Rhaegar was ugly as shit, and I was very disappointed. Maybe because in my head, he had long, flowy, beautiful hair, and that looked like Viserys 2.0. It's like he didn't even improve. Maybe I'm petty, but like that scene, I'm with you when I say that you could have easily gave us, shed a few minutes off of that King's Landing scene and put it towards this, because we were all waiting for it. You could have done Harrenhal, but you didn't. You could have done the Night of Laughing Tree, but you didn't. You just gave us this marriage. It's like, cool, but then you got him in the dark, and I get it. Trust me, I get it, but I was disappointed too. And I just wanted to say that Rhaegar disappointed me. You just reminded me. And one thing I will say, I'm with you on the Lord's kiss, because it's like that you need to do some extra shit, because it was so disappointing. Like, you set this up for everyone to enjoy this nasty sex scene between families. Sorry, Sam, but you set this up, and that's all we got. It was just like, it was rushed, so it didn't make sense that they are falling in love and all this other stuff. You didn't really show us that. You showed Jon looking at her a few times, and that's it, and that doesn't make sense. And I'm right there with you. Now I'm adding on to your rant.
Yeah, for real. I was hold on real quick, Sam. I was highly, highly disappointed in the look of Rhaegar. Like I said, I really thought that was Harry Lloyd because of how they had his hair. That dude looked way too much like Viserys for my taste. I just put a link in the chat. If y'all click on that, that guy is who I thought would have been the perfect Rhaegar. His name is Gaspard Ulliel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He's a French model. And you put some freaking silver white hair on that guy. That is how I think Rhaegar would have looked. The dude that they picked, just no. And I'm really mad that we only got them little snippets of the wedding. I would have liked to really seen the whole tourney of Harrenhal and seen all their interactions and the Night of the Laughing Tree, but we got gypped. You know, whatever. Go ahead, Sam.
Okay, so I did not touch on the name. So, and I think I went over it completely because I'm so disappointed that they named him Aegon. Because Rhaegar already has a son named Aegon. And I think because they got rid of Fagon, that's from the books, that whole storyline. They think they can give him the name Aegon because no one's going to remember. But his name should have been Aemon, not Aegon, Aemon, like Maester Aemon, because Rhaegar and Aemon had a relationship and they kept up that relationship, and that should have been his name. From every detail I've gotten from both show and book, his name should have been Aemon from everything they said. But they gave us Aegon because D&D have to give us something we don't want. But whatever. I'm not going to keep going on it. I'm just going to let it go.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna let it go. I mean, because it just wasn't because of Maester Aemon. When they were kids, you know, Jon, Theon, and Rob running around, when they would play characters, Jon was always Aemon the Dragon Knight. And that just, it made sense that either that or Jaehaerys, honestly, is what I thought his name would be. I don't get why they would have named him Aegon when at the time when he was born, Aegon, the Elia's son, was still alive. That doesn't make sense to me why it would be Aegon. But, you know, again, whatever. Anyways, everyone's spoken on this point, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, let's go to the final scene at the wall. Let's see. You know, we started with Bran being in the Godswood, and he is fully uploaded to the Weirwood Matrix. And he is, you know, the ravens are, that flock of ravens we've been seeing all season is flying towards Eastwatch. We see Tormund and Beric, you know, they're talking on one of the lookout points when they see the army of the dead start to walk out of the forest. And, you know, first it looks like it's just the army of the dead, and then we see some of the White Walkers come out. You know, the music gets super intense, and then they show us the undead giants, and then it goes silent for like 5 seconds. And undead Viserion bursts through the clouds, breathing what I believe everyone is calling shadow fire at the wall. Because he is not, you know, a lot of people think he's an ice dragon. If you read or listen to the audiobook of the Ice Dragon, they are completely different creatures than what Viserion is right now. Viserion is a white dragon. He's not an ice dragon. He's not completely made of living ice like the White Walkers are. There is a difference, people. So, you know, Viserion makes his presence known. Tormund calls for a retreat, and we see everybody just booking it down that staircase. I don't know. It looked like they had a little elevator lift like they did at Castle Black, but for whatever reason, no one was using that. They were all just going down the stairs. And as they're trying to escape, you know, Viserion starts to burn that portion of the wall down. He keeps going, and he leaves this huge ass breach in the wall near Eastwatch. You know, there are a couple moments where, again, I thought we were going to lose Tormund, but it doesn't seem like we did. I do believe Tormund is one of the ones that survived. So did Beric. And we end off the episode with the White Walker and the White Army crossing through that breach in the wall, headed to descend into the north and the rest of the Seven Kingdoms. So, ladies, give me your thoughts. T-Baby, let us start with you, House Troll.
Okay, I'm sorry. What did you say? I was too busy laughing at B. Get on my damn nerve. Is his name Larry?
Okay, everything that happened at the wall at Eastwatch, the Viserion coming in and wrecking shop, the army of the dead moving past the wall, everything. Tormund and Beric trying to run for cover. Speak on it.
Okay, so let me just put y'all where I was at last, 2 minutes of the episode, and then all of a sudden they show us the wall, and I was like, and then they show us Tormund, I was like, oh God, no, you couldn't let me have this. You played with me when Jamie was supposed to die, and nope. Then I was supposed to see the Mountain and the Hound fight, nope. But you're going to kill Tormund? I said, what the fuck type of sick shit is this? Oh, but that dragon, I agree with you so much. That is not an ice dragon. That is a resurrected dragon. He was breathing out frozen fire. I think it's Jon and all of them fault for bringing that white into the inside the other part of the wall, because I think it's a loophole when it comes to having the whites in there. I really think if a person, a Night's Watcher, whoever said the vows brings them in, they can come in. It's more like an invite or something like that. Let me have it. But just the way it was set up, how it was dark, how it was shot, that whole scene where it just destroyed the wall. It goes back to the Hound saying he saw it, his vision coming true, saying that the walls falling, that they're going through thousands of them, hundreds of them, and then to see them come out, I mean, y'all do not know fear till you see your favorite character 2 minutes into the season finale, and all we had really was one death. Like I thought they was just, and then it's like the way they shot it. Some people think that he didn't make it. Some think he did. I think he made it. I just don't see them killing him off screen. But then they did that to homeboy Blackfish, so it would not surprise me. But that shot, everything, those 2 minutes was everything to me. Them running, the way the wall fell, the way that the Night King looked when he got on it. OMG. And then of course it made me think that Bran's going to probably try to warg that dragon to do something, because the Night King with a dragon is scary. And the fact that the frozen fire is what kind of broke the wall was, I was just screaming like, oh shit. And then you see all of them just kind of come in. I'm like, there's no way. How is Tormund and them going to make it to Winterfell in time when all of them are just attacking? But oh, when you saw, and then it made me think of, they're doing exactly how season 4 at the Battle of Castle Black, where we saw Mance, he light this big fire and then he came, and then you just started seeing all of the wildlings come out of the forest. Same thing, except for not the fire was with the whites, but just the fact that we saw all the whites and then the giants too. I really thought we was going to see a Hodor. I don't know why I thought something fucked up like that, but I did think we was going to see that. But this is what made me say, okay, I enjoyed this episode. It really was the ending, because everything shot, even though I was scared that Tormund was gone, I enjoyed that so much. That's all I really got to say, is that I enjoyed it.
Sam.
Okay, so my face went from like happy to like, oh no, what's going on? No. All you saw was like, and it wasn't even like just the storm that came this time. It was like black clouds preceded them to the wall. And when that horn rang out, oh, it gave me chills. Now, T was worried about Tormund, and I was worried about Tormund for T watching this episode until I started this stream and someone mentioned in the chats, now I'm concerned for my eye candy Gendry. Is Gendry alive? Did he die? They can't kill him now. Like, we just got him back. He rode and rode and rode for God knows how many seasons to get back to King's Landing. We got him back. He ran all that way to save them, and now they're just going to kill him? They can't kill him, right? Like, really? And the white dragon, I'm not even going to call it an ice dragon, even though that's where my head goes all the time. That thing was creepy as all hell. I'm not going to swear. I'm going to try not to swear, okay? That thing scared the crap out of me. And I'm just hoping someone finds a way to, they probably won't kill the Night's King, but kill the Night's King so that the dragon will go away and not be there anymore. But yeah, it was shot beautifully. I thought the scene was amazing to watch. It scared the crap out of me, but it was amazing. Go ahead, ladies.
Yeah, I agree. You know, regardless of the White Walkers being seen as the big bad and whatnot, Viserion looked fucking awesome taking that damn wall down. Like, the visuals were just so on point. It honestly was a joy to watch. You know, my team is about to have the fucking fight of their lives, but I loved how that scene looked. Lady Manaro, take it away.
We're talking about Eastwatch, yeah?
Yes, everything with Eastwatch all the way to the end of the episode.
Okay. I already had a feeling as soon as we saw Tormund like up on the up in the watchtower with Beric that the White Words were coming. I was just like, yeah, something's coming, because you could see, like Sam said, you could see that black cloud and that rush coming through. And so I won't repeat probably what everybody said. I enjoyed the whole white dragon thing. I like the nitrogen that was coming, that he was shooting out of his mouth.
That's a good way to call it. It looked like liquid nitrogen. Good call.
Yeah, that's exactly what I felt like it was. And I enjoyed that. When I saw the Night King ride him, I was like, that is such a bad A scene. I thought that was like freaking it. I'm like, man, they are gonna go through it in Westeros, but you have to admit that was a pretty awesome sight to see the Night King riding a white dragon. I mean, a dragon that is a white. I mean, I know you can't hear. That's because I'm talking, but I will be done soon so you can hear. Okay. Okay. So I thought that was great. I thought that Beric and Tormund were gonna bite it, like they were gonna fall when the wall was falling, like they were gonna like tumble to their death. And I was like, oh my God, run, get out of the way. And I was like, wait a minute, why didn't they send a raven as soon as they saw the whites come through the tree line? Why didn't somebody send a raven? I mean, I was screaming a lot of things at the screen. My mouth was like open for most of it, like going like, oh my God. Because it was a lot for me to take in, especially like the wall, the way that the wall, I thought that shot was beautifully done. I enjoyed the whole entire scene, and them just like walking through that whole big hole, and then the Night King just riding through the wall, riding through it, just riding right over it. And so I guess, the first place that's going to get hit is going to be Winterfell. So it's going to be interesting to see how Rhaegal and Drogon face off against this white Viserion. It's Dance of the Dragons. That's exactly what's getting ready to happen. Another Dance of the Dragons, and it's going to be very interesting to see. And it would be really cool if Jon was riding Rhaegal. I mean, just poetic and all that other gibberish and all that. But I'm rambling. But I thought that whole ending scene was amazing, and I enjoyed it.
Right, I agree on most of your thoughts. I think, though, the first place that's going to be hit is Motown, and they're going to run through that in less than 2 minutes. And then they're going to hit the Last Hearth, where the Umbers are stationed. And from there, then I think they'll make their way down to Winterfell. I think Last Hearth and Motown will be very easy wins for them. Winterfell, I think, is where the bulk of the huge battle may happen, but they are all going to fall back. And again, I'm still hoping for Howland Reed. They'll all fall back to what is it? Is it Moat Cailin? That's down there. There's a ruined castle near the lands of where Howland Reed rules at Greywater Watch. And that's basically the castle that's always the linchpin when people try to invade the north. Like, it's very hard to get past those swamps in the neck. And even if you do, Moat Cailin is right there to stop you. And that was one of the reasons why the Andals never took the north, because they were just too damn strong in those counterpoints. But Winterfell, I think, is going to fall. once it comes down to it. And then Cersei's really going to be shaking in her boots after she gets these ravens saying what's going on. And also, the fucking maesters at the Citadel, I hope somebody sends them a damn raven so they can know how much bullshit they were about not trying to take Sam seriously. But anyway, that's for another video, predictions and whatnots. Lady D, Professor Diligence, please give us your knowledge, madam. Chat room, pull out your quills, parchment, and ink. We are about to get schooled.
Y'all are hilarious. Y'all too damn much. This right here, like, I gotta say, this is the part, y'all, that was like, okay, this episode is with something. I know you've been hearing me in my little synopsis saying I'm disappointed, I'm disappointed, I'm disappointed. I was not disappointed with this. Only thing I was disappointed with is that I wish that there was more of it. Like, there was more of something happen, but honestly and truly, they gave me enough. Seeing Tormund, T-Baby, I'm stuck now. Whenever I see Tormund is in danger, I immediately think of you and I'm like, danger, danger, Tormund. Like, oh my gosh, Tormund, danger. So I was afraid for you. Like, oh crap, they didn't kill Jaime. They did not kill Tyrion. Nobody freaking died in this season. Like, barely anybody died in this season. I'm thinking last episode, they're going to kill Tormund. And they're going to kill Gendry, and they're going to kill everybody at the wall. But I realized, all right, it's not obviously not happening. And I'm a little bit confused because I kind of expected for there to be another fight with the guys at Castle Black, right? Or anything to be happening. But it just happened so fast. The wall fell so quickly that they didn't even have time to get reinforcements. The first thing is seeing the White Walkers come out of that tree line. It was like, oh, shit. I already knew what it was. I started adjusting myself in the chair, like, get ready. And then when you see them move up and stop, and we heard the rumble, I knew it. It was like Viserion's coming. And him fly. It was so, I don't know how you guys' TV are. My TV is like super loud when I'm watching Game of Thrones, and it's super dark, right, in there. So literally, in the house, it was like, like, oh my God. Everybody just scream and yell at the same time, like, oh shit, Viserion. Like, you almost felt it. I can't even imagine like the impact that it must have felt like to be on the top of the wall, guys. This massive thing made of ice. Like, this is a marvel to them, right? Like, this is an engineering marvel of the time. And it is just like, it's just coming down. It's being ripped apart from the scenes, and you're on top of it while it's happening. It's incredible. It was an absolutely just great scene, and I loved every single piece of it. I wish it was longer. Seeing Viserion ride in what I thought was going to be ice, but now we have an answer. He's not an ice dragon. He's a fire dragon with blue flame. It's just basically to denote that he's undead, which is whatever. But, like, I get it now. He's melting the entire freaking wall. Well, not the entire wall, but he's melting basically a hole in the wall. And that causes the rest of it to collapse. To your question, T-Baby, about whether or not Tormund died, I fully believe that Tormund is alive. I think that the way that it fell is that it fell, like, from, it broke off here, and then the rest of it from Eastwatch this way, like, towards the water, broke off. And where Tormund was, I believe he's fine. Because I think he was looking at it. He was looking at that part of the wall just break off. So unless, you know, he's somehow still there, or I don't know, something crazy happened, I think he made it out. They can't kill Tormund. HBO, if any of you are listening to these, and I'm now convinced that you do listen to some of our fandom stuff, don't kill Tormund. Don't do it. I'll have to come for you on the strength of my twin. Now, I don't want to do it, but I will have to hurt somebody if Tormund is gone. It was really great. I wish that, again, the battle was bigger. Seeing them, the trippiest thing out to me, guys, is looking at, like, how, I don't know how to verbalize it. Like, I'm literally looking at the scene on mute. They're so quiet. Like, I don't know how to explain it, y'all. This hive mind thing is crazy. They literally stood in front of the wall and let a freaking dragon dig a hole for them through it, basically, and then walk through it like it was no problem. There was no cheering. There was no excitement. It was just slow and steady wins the race. Like, they're not even in a rush. They just know that they're coming to take over. And I'm really interested to see what's going to happen, because I don't see anything stopping the Night King from just flying his dragon wherever he wants it to and wreaking havoc wherever he decides that he he wants to. So I mean, I guess we'll see. It's a really great setup for next season. I do expect for the Umbers to get hit first. Well, and then I expect for the Karstarks to get hit, and then for them to move down slowly, until they get to where Winterfell is, and for us to end up having a battle maybe mid-season next season at Winterfell, and then maybe having to evacuate and leave Winterfell, because unless they're going to treat Winterfell like it's the new King's Landing in the north or something like that, I don't really see how they're going to make it without evacuating the north as a whole. You got over 100,000 undead, a freaking dragon, a freaking undead dragon, and the Night's King that's been probably alive since the last long night. So I think that they're going to move to the north pretty quickly, and they're going to have to get people out of the north pretty quickly. And that's it. Like, I'm just so stuck on it, guys. Just watching him fly in and hearing that rumble, that kind of made up for a lot of the disappointment in the episode, and there was many disappointments.
All right, T-Baby, you had something else to put in?
Yeah, it was two things that I forgot to mention, because another thing, I think it's layers to why the wall fell. I don't think it's just from the Night King with the dragon, even though I think it was frozen fire that kind of done it. I do think they played a part when they invited the White Walker in, but also it's said in the books, and I think that they also mentioned it on the show, but they said as long as the Night Watch stay true, everything's going to be all right. And we know that the Night's Watch hasn't been true for a very long time. And and the one thing that I remember, that the whole scene at the very end where you see all of them walking in slowly, basically just forming the place. It goes back to season 1 where Cersei, and he tells her which is better, 5 armies or 1, and she says 5, and Robert says no, one big army with one purpose is a dangerous, deadly thing, and that's exactly what's happening. That's all I want to say.
Nice. I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's a really good callback. So, folks, we are to the end of the episode, and normally we do try to do a couple Q&As, but it is late in the evening, and we all have to adult in the morning. So, if you have any Q&As that you would like us to cover, once the stream ends, please drop them down in the comment section, and we will settle all those at a later date. Lady Manaro, I'm going to ask you, since we are now free of the season, will there be a ginger ale chat forthcoming sometime soon?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
You know the ginger ale is about to flow, right?
We got to unwind from this stressful shit.
Y'all know I got like some topics that I need to like get off of my chest. So
yes.
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. You know that topics never work in ginger ale. We always sidebar onto something.
That's okay though.
It's gonna sidebar so far. It might be like the first ginger ale chat I ever had.
Yo,
the one where me and you were talking for like 3 hours.
And then it just snowballed to like 12 hours. Yes.
I wasn't mad about that ginger ale chat though. That was epic.
So yes, there will be a ginger ale chat forthcoming, and there will be some other things forthcoming. So stay tuned.
Yes, absolutely.
And one thing I want to say is I really enjoyed this season because being Unsullied this season made me enjoy it a lot more than I probably would have if I had seen previews and looked at leaks or all that other gibberish. Granted, a lot of the episodes kind of fell flat, but I still enjoyed the season as a whole. Not knowing what was going to happen going into each episode. So I just want to extend a thank you to everyone for understanding and being patient, and understanding why I wasn't in any of the chats during the whole season, and why I didn't participate in a lot of the stuff is because I purposely didn't want to know what was going to happen from episode to episode, to kind of give myself the opportunity to try to enjoy the show for what it is, and not bring any other book elements into it. So I just wanted to say that real quick. Thanks, TK.
Is anyone
AK,
gonna
I
talk?
think you're muted. AK, you're muted.
That damn mute
Don't act
button
like
fights
Jamie,
again.
okay?
What?
Do not act like Jamie.
Shush. I don't need that kind of talk in my life, ma'am. But I was saying, if you guys aren't subscribed already, go to Manaro's channel, sub her. She's done Unsullied reactions for this whole season. And if I remember correctly, she only started watching last season. She was on Pure Book Knowledge, and she's got a bunch of awesome breakdowns of the chapters. Also, check her out. My girl Lady D also has awesome background knowledge with a lot of these characters. Check her out. Sam R09 has a couple theory vids out, and y'all know T Baby always brings the comedy with her videos and recaps, and she is awesome as well. We are missing Lady Timo this evening. She was not feeling well, so she could not make the chat, but y'all know she's going to be around in other streams, so check her out. We're trying to convince her to start her own channel. She's not listening to us for whatever reason, so y'all light up her DMs and tell her that you want her to start a channel so we can get it popping. The Mad Queen's always in full effect. Thank y'all for coming out, everybody. I got let's see who's in the chat room right now. Lady Warrior, JW Flux, DJ, Sean Land. I believe DJ 11 was in here earlier. Phil H, Richie Rich Shatwell, Ion Trone. Let's see, Cheekies had you in. Peter Griffin, I didn't even see you when you came in. What's going on, son? Pyro Nucleus, haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for stopping in. Oh, damn. Lady Jada done snuck in and I didn't even know it. Air and water. Thank you for coming in, my lady. Always appreciate seeing your lovely face. Let's see. Milt K. Haven't seen you in a while either. Thank you for coming through. I believe we had Brand the Builder in here at one point. Let's see if I can go up. Lord Alas Hearth, my brother Tony, thank you always for looking out. Eli Naris was in the chat. You know he always got to throw shade at the Targaryens, and we appreciate that petty shade, sir. Keep it coming, never change. Thank you for everyone that was in. If I didn't shout you out, shout yourselves out in the comment section below, because you know we love the family. If you by chance are also a fan of The Walking Dead, check out my boys Josh and Alex on the Walking Bread channel. We got the motion comics for The Walking Dead going down. If you're interested in seeing the comics so you can compare them to the show, they're doing big things over there. Check it out. I voice Michonne as of issue 52. If you look in my description box, there are links to Manaro's her website where she sells awesome memorabilia. Check her out. All of the ladies' links are also in my channel. Sub to all of them because they are freaking awesome. Y'all know how the Mad Queens do. And look out for that ginger ale chat. The ginger ale that was promised is coming soon. Now that we're done with this season, we can actually move on to some other things and more fun and whatnot. If you guys are not subscribed to Lav, subscribe to her. Me, her, BBM, and Manaro have started a book club. Our next book is The Eaters of the Dead by Michael Crichton. We'll be doing that probably next month sometime. Look out for the notifications. And I'm gonna give these ladies a chance to sign off. Lady T Baby, let's start with you.
It's been real with you guys. Enjoy Talking Thrones with you guys for this season. We will be back next season. We're going to be doing other things. I know Strangers Things 2 will have a stream. Hit the thumbs up. Let her know for sure because I'm into weird shit as always. Definitely come check out my channel. I'll have a review up either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm going to be doing more theory videos or just random videos on things that are weird or interesting to me in the books. And let me know if you're into me expanding, going into other TV shows. Let me know, because I'm. And I always have fun with my ladies, as always. It's been real, and thank you for having me. And that's really about it.
Yes, as T Baby said, look out for those Stranger Things talk, because Stranger Things is the shit. If y'all are not watching, I don't know what you're doing with your life. That also reminds me, coming up for the Halloween season, I'm going to be doing a thing. And I've got a few of our favorite YouTubers coming in to help me out with that. And I'm hoping to post 1 or 2 things a day of some good Halloween spooky / creepypasta content. So sub so you don't miss anything. Lady Sam, tell the folks where to find you.
Hi, everybody. So sometimes randomly I'll just pop up with a video. I don't have many. They're mostly theory talk videos. A couple of them are streams. I've had AK, BBM, and AU for theory thoughts type videos. But yeah, I keep saying I'm going to make new videos. Me and T have talked about making a video together, and we still haven't done it.
I'm ready.
So am I, but work keeps getting in the way. But we will work on that, and I promise I will have some new videos coming out. But you can always find me whenever Manaro does ginger ale. I am always there because I love me some Manaro ginger ale chat. I love these ladies. I'm so glad that I got to join you guys on the last one. I'm so glad that I got to join AK on the live stream yesterday. Again, I love you ladies. I love the chat so much. You guys are so fun. I love arguing with everyone because I have different views. It makes me happy. And yes, okay, maybe I'm a little bit evil, psycho, whatever you want to say, but I really did love watching Arya kill Littlefinger. Go ahead, Lady Manaro.
Fuck Littlefinger, damn it. Manaro, come through.
All right, so always a pleasure, ladies. You guys have my heart. Y'all know that. So it's always a pleasure for me to be with you ladies. And to the chat, really appreciate the love and support that you've shown us throughout this entire season, and coming to hang out with us. I really appreciate it, and I know I speak for all of us when I say that it's really appreciated. So with respect to my channel, upcoming, aside from Ginger Ale Chat, I am going to be doing a rewind watch of Deadwood coming up with AU. We're going to do, there's 3 seasons of Deadwood. Haven't figured out how we're going to get through those 3 seasons yet, but we're going to be doing like a live rewatch and commentary on that. T, I don't know if you still want to join in on that, because I know you said that you needed, your father said that
yeah, I'm in there. I'm in there. I was just waiting to hear my name, but yep, I'm sliding in all of y'all streams. I'm sliding in everybody's stream.
Slide in the DM. So that is what I have coming up for September. And then after Deadwood, I probably will be doing I'll be doing other shows, and I don't know who will want to come in and join me, but it will be just watching the shows live and doing live commentary. So basically it's like a bunch of us just sitting around watching, like binge watching. I do want to do a binge watch of The Defenders, because I haven't had the opportunity to watch that yet. Don't judge me, please. It's been a long couple weeks. As you can see, I still have a little person with me who does not allow me to be great, because anytime I have Netflix on, it's like I don't get to watch what I want. So she finally goes home on Friday. So yay, but yay.
I love it. I love it. You got the tiny humans are always so much joy. But after a point, sometimes you gotta
You're
handle.
not trying to let me be great, yo. Like right now,
Right,
if
right,
I'm talking
right.
to y'all, hold on. If I'm about to show you what my situation is.
Oh, it's
Show us
hard
the
being an auntie. It's a struggle. The struggle's real. It's only one of us and a zillion of them. Hey, cutie, it's past your bedtime.
Hey, boo boo.
My situation all night. Say hi to the. Hi.
Hi, cutie.
Hi.
You go to bed,
Like
cutie.
she's been all up in my situation the whole night, so it's like I don't get to be great. So, but
She's
yeah,
not
that's what I
even
have.
bothered.
Sorry for rambling. So you can catch me with Lav, AK, and catch the next ginger ale chat that I will have these wonderful ladies if they are so inclined to join me, and look out for the Deadwood rewatch coming up next month. And thanks again for all the love and support.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Lady Manaro, and all my other ladies for being here. Lady Diligence, Professor, please say hi to the folks.
Thanks so very, very much for coming in to check us out. As always, it's been a great time, ladies. Thank you very much for including me once again. Mad Queens. I'm sure we'll have something else going on. Stranger Things is happening, but also Westworld is coming back. And George should also be dropping Fire and Blood, the first volume of Fire and Blood in 2018, and we kind of get a preview in October. So, I mean, there's going to be some things for us to still talk about, definitely Game of Thrones related and not Game of Thrones related. As far as the book, A Song of Ice and Fire related stuff, I know I owe you guys the rest of the Grand Northern Ambitions theory, and I'm going to finish it. I know I keep saying I'm going to finish it, but it's just been a lot going on right now, but I'm going to finish it. And I also have a new theory that I need to go ahead and hurry up and record based on the episode on Sunday, relating to Dany and the Miriam Mazdur prophecy. So be on the lookout for that. Subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications. And thanks again for coming in, guys.
Yes, absolutely. Please do sub to all of my ladies. Their links are in the description. You'll also see a link for Manaro's store. Go check her out. She's got some awesome stuff going. The North Remembers, there's a link for her. Also, she does awesome artwork. Check them out. And sub to all of my ladies on here, because y'all know we be out and about doing the thing. You know, you never know when we're going to pop up, especially now that we're in the off season of Game of Thrones. You know, we got a couple of ladies that still need to watch the Defenders. And, you know, if we're so inclined, we might be doing some breakdowns about that. So
I'm just saying.
Hit us up. You know, I'm just saying. Thank y'all for coming in and coming through. We appreciate everybody in the chat that was with us. I think our highest number at one point was like 32 viewers. Appreciate that. Y'all smash that like. Let me know if we're still doing things the right way, if we're doing what y'all want to see. And drop those Q&As in the comment section so we can get back to those. If we get enough questions, we'll go ahead and do another Q&A vid. I think that me and Tony from Last Hearth will be doing something coming up in the next week. He just shot me a good idea of a panel that he wanted to do. So just hit us all up. Don't forget,
Why don't nobody hit me up? I want to talk about weird shit too.
Okay, you can come talk about the weird shit. It's not gonna be on my channel though. I can't just invite people to the mainstream.
I'm sliding in the stream.
Okay, well, TV trying to slide into anybody's
DMs. Don't leave me out.
I want to be.
Okay,
you saying like
I will let my brother know he loves y'all just like I love y'all. Y'all can slide into his DMs. You know it ain't no thing, and we will hit y'all.
No, I'm just teasing.
At some point, y'all sub to everybody seriously so you don't miss the notifications. You know we be in here cracking up. You know when the ginger ale flows, it flows hard. So look out for that. Thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate it. And now our watch has ended.